From a scientific standpoint, from a communication standpoint, this is a master class in meteorology. All the air is rushing in. We're basically in a vacuum right now. All the air is rushing into this area. Can't general disclaimer, obviously I'm very excited from a scientific standpoint, but I do, and we all are very well aware of the human impact of this. So even though it looks cool online, it looks cool to, oh, there's a bird. It looks cool to sort of see all this science in action. We do want folks to know that getting to this point was dangerous. The first out of the eye, I mean, look at all the damage just on this little stretch of highway.
Flooding farther to my south, but when you have that and an acute tornado risk in one of the biggest, most densely populated areas of the country at night, not a great recipe for travel. The good news though, it's Sunday, commute not quite as bad as it
What's going on, everybody? Meteorologist Mike Linden coming at you live Friday, November 8th, 2024. Hope you are all having a fantastic week. It again is the end of the work week. It is a holiday weekend, if you did not know. It is, there's a lot going on weather-wise. We are streaming live across all of our platforms here, including on TikTok. That's right, we are back on TikTok, which is exciting. Of course, the last time that you might have seen us on TikTok, we were dealing with some silliness there from Hurricane Milton. But we are back. What's going on, TikTok? Hope you are all doing very, very well. Of course, we are streaming live across all of our platforms. I got Jack in my ear here asking me to screen share the iPad here next to me. Absolutely, Jack. I will get right on that. But I hope you are all doing well. We're going to go live here for a little bit, really an indefinite kind of amount of time here. It's possible that we'll be with you for an hour or so. I just wanted to come live, talk to you guys about Hurricane Raphael, as well as this crazy winter event, early preview, I should say, of winter we've got going on in Colorado. We've also got some severe weather in the Texas area. So there is a lot to talk about, even outside of what's going on outside of the world of weather. There's a lot going on, really in general, all around the world. So hope you are all doing well. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We've got Jack switching things behind the scenes here. We've also got Storm Chaser Jordan Hall out in the field. Jack, if you want to show them Jordan's camera, he is out in Texas, right? There he is. So we're going to be very careful here. I think part of the reason why we were suspended that one time on TikTok is because we showed driving like we are there, Jack. I can see it now on TikTok. Let's not do that. On TikTok there, Jack. I don't know why. They don't like that, but let's try to avoid getting a suspension there, Jack. So if you can take it off of, I guess it would be encoder 2. I'm seeing it here on TikTok. We can hide that. Anyway, hope you're all doing very well. I've got all the chats up in front. Okay, that's fine. And then, Jack, we might even want to just show the web browser at times, so if we can switch between the two. All right, perfect. So if you guys have any questions for me, or if you have any questions for Jordan, I am here to answer your questions. So first thing that we're going to do is we are going to talk about Hurricane Rafael. So I've got it pulled up here in my radar. That's right, hurricane season is not over yet. It is November, of course, November 8th. But hurricane season at least officially ends on December 1st. All right? So it is certainly possible for us to see hurricane development even beyond the end of this month. But we're at the point of the year now where if there were to be something that would develop, the ingredients that would normally be there for intensification are just not. The Gulf of Mexico has now begun to cool down a little bit. I mean, this is what typically happens this time of year. In fact, if you look here at water temperature, I've got that turned on. Going into the My Radar app, the layers menu there, and turning on temperatures, you'll see that over the open water, 81, 82, I mean, closer to the coastline, 79. Remember, this was in the upper 80s, if not into the lower 90s in some spots for the peak of hurricane season. So it is about to kind of get caught in some not so great conditions there. On top of that, if I turn on the clouds layer here, I've got to switch it. Hang on. We're going to put on the water vapor imagery. You can see just to the west of it there, right, that we have got a pretty significant, let me pause it here, a pretty significant amount of dry air on its western side, right? So that dry air, you can already see it kind of right here, is getting pulled into the center of the storm, and that's going to almost like a sink drain into the middle of it, and that is going to effectively attack it from inside out. So that is another mitigating factor kind of working against Rafael. And if I put it back into motion here, next thing we're going to look at is we're going to turn the fronts layer on here. And you'll see that we have got a big honkin' trough to the north of it here. And of course, remember, air rotates counterclockwise around a trough, so that's kind of pushing it to the south a little bit. Then you have this high pressure over the Mexican peninsula that will shift its way eastward a little bit more in the next day or so. And remember, that rotates clockwise, so that effectively is going to push it here into the Bay of Campeche. Now, Rafael, as it stands right now, it's a pretty potent storm, right? Of course, not getting a ton of attention in the sense where I think people are kind of over hurricane season at this point, but this is just a reminder that you really can't ever let your guard down. I mean, at one point, even earlier today, this thing was a major hurricane, Category 3. But as it stands right now, the wind's at 109 miles per hour, gusting up to 132. It's moving at 9 miles per hour, so it's not super slow, but it's not moving the fastest. And the expectation is here that over the next day or so, you can kind of see the path there, essentially, how it kind of just bounces around. It will eventually weaken to a hurricane, Category 1 hurricane, weakening to a tropical storm, and then kind of stall out a little bit, kind of do circles around itself there in the central Gulf of Mexico, and then push its way to the south and weaken to a tropical depression. It's pretty likely at that point that it'll just get torn to pieces and kind of just dissipate. We will, of course, see what's going on there. I've got someone on Facebook here. Marianne says people are preparing for snow. Yeah, I mean, no kidding. We've got a lot of snow up north here. Check this out. So let's turn off the fronts layer for just a moment. We have got a significant amount of snowfall falling in the Colorado area right here. We've actually got some folks on the My Radar team that are based in Colorado. And it's to the point where like local daycare and whatnot have closed in the kind of Denver metro area. I earlier today was sent a photo. I should have grabbed it for you guys from my sister-in-law who lives out there, and like their porch is just totally covered. So it's pretty wild where going into Veterans Day weekend, we've got at one point a major hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. And then not too far away from that, we have got, near blizzard conditions in some parts of Colorado. I know that earlier today we shared a post on X. Jack, if you want to take my web browser and show this here. I think this was Capucci. I just know that the way that he writes. This one here, he wrote, yep, it's November, and you're seeing a hurricane, a blizzard, and a tornado threat all within 1,500 miles. That's right, the tornado threat is there in Texas. That's where Jordan is right now. He's driving through Texas. A bit of a sneaky setup there in Texas. We'll talk about that in a moment. But again, pretty wild when you consider that there is just a lot going on weather-wise. Kind of a clash of almost every single season, right? You've got the summer conditions there with the hurricane threat. You've got a spring kind of threat there over Texas. And then, of course, a big-time winter threat up here near the comma head for the Colorado area here. So let's jump back to the app here, Jack. And I want to show you guys something you might not have known in the Outlooks tab here. So notice you've got snow forecast in here. Check this out. We'll turn this on here. And I've got to toggle the snow forecast on, right? This is a feature you might not have known exists in My Radar, right? And what's pretty neat is, well, it looks like we might have just encountered a little bug there. But either way, this is showing you the snow totals on the, I know I can show you here on the iPad, Jack. We can pull that up here. We're working with
Let me know whenever you want me to talk.
There's some stuff, if you've looked around, you're probably wondering like, oh, those icons look a little different. We got some experimental My Radar stuff in that version of the app there. So this is showing you the snowfall forecast. And notice as I hover around, oh, Jack, you might need to take it in full if there's a way there. But if I hover around, I'm just going to turn off the high-def radar here for a moment. And if I hover around, you can see that it will show you the totals up in the top right corner there on iOS, right? So there's 15 inches of snow just to the east of Starkville and Trinidad, Colorado. You got this little bullseye here that's 10 inches of snow, a foot for Walsenburg and Trinidad. Up near Colorado Springs here, 8 inches of snow. And then look at Denver here. Look at this very steep cutoff here. You got 6 inches of snow over the southern suburbs, close to the airport, Centennial, and Greenwood Village. And then as you go north of that into kind of downtown proper, there's a pretty sharp cutoff there where you could be looking at roughly 4 to 6 inches of snowfall. And that extends northward up toward communities like Erie, Lafayette, Broomfield, North Glen, Thornton. Yeah, it is that time of year, folks. It is that time of year where we are kind of all trapped in a bunch of stuff. And again, I'm here to chat with you guys. If you guys have any questions for me, I see y'all on Twitch. We got folks joining us on X, YouTube, Facebook, and on TikTok. What's going on, everybody? For those of you that are joining us here on TikTok and you guys are enjoying the content, we really appreciate it. There's a bunch of you in here right now. We'd appreciate it if you were to follow us here on TikTok. There in the peak of hurricane season, we hit 110, I think, thousand followers on TikTok, which we're, of course, very proud of. We'd really appreciate it if you guys were to follow us. That way you always know whenever we drop a new TikTok, or, of course, whenever we go live as well. We're always trying to create new and exciting content for y'all, so let us know in the chat what it is that you'd like for us to talk about and what you'd like for us to cover in future videos. And we are here for you. I am just here to talk to you guys about everything that's going on weather-wise in the world. There's a lot going on. So we figured it was time to jump on a live stream and talk to you. So what do you guys want to talk about? Again, if you just want to shout out some locations, let me know where you're watching from on whatever social media platform, and we'll look around, give you guys the lowdown. All right? So you guys should still be able to hear me. Jack is experimenting with something here. Deborah on TikTok. What's up, Deborah? Is the hurricane going to break up? I mean, it's certainly looking likely at this point here. I mean, Raphael, if it were any time of year, any other time of year, I should say, if it were September, August, we'd be looking at this, not knowing what the latter half of the path shows there and say, hey, pretty concerning, right? It's in the Gulf of Mexico. There's no land involvement, but there's a lot of mitigating factors working against it, as we've already talked about, but I'm going to repeat myself a lot here. I mean, if I turn that off for just a moment and we turn on the clouds, I've got the water vapor imagery selected. This kind of dirty, rusty color over here, that is dry air. So dry air going to get entrenched and kind of get sucked into that storm. You're already seeing it right here. Y'all can see my mouse cursor, right? Yeah. So all that dry air getting sucked into it. You've got a front to the north of it here. Let me turn that on, the fronts. You've got a big front right here that's kind of pushing it down. Meanwhile, you've got high pressure right here over Mexico that's going to nudge eastward and rotate clockwise. So that's effectively pushing it away from the Gulf Coast. I mean, at this point, I would say that this is not a threat to land. Although there are some ensemble models that are taking it northward. I guess, Jack, if you are... Oh, Jack is working on something. We'll work on pulling up the web browser here in a second. Jack, just let me know when I can do that. And I'll show you guys some of the possible spaghetti plots that are showing some alternate paths there. But I would, quite frankly... Oh, cool. We got the web browser up. Thanks, Jack. So this is courtesy of our buddies over at Weather Nerds, weathernerds.org. Fantastic website to bookmark for hurricane season. This is effectively taking the European models on the left and the American models on the right, so the ECMWF and then the GFS or some variant of it on the right side there, and showing you effectively the possibilities with all of the model runs. I mean, if you kind of think about like what we saw on Election Day the other day, where you have all of these different kind of projections for the ways that kind of votes can go. This is effectively doing the same thing, but with weather and changing variables just a little bit here. And notice what you're seeing is kind of a consensus. That's that dark black line. The consensus for both the European and the American models is showing a pretty sharp path southward. Now, there are some outliers here, like in the GFS, where we've got this one here that is spitting out some possible outcomes north into Louisiana, east into Florida, and then one west into Texas there. But these are outliers, right? These, I'd be quite frankly very surprised if this thing did anything but kind of just dissipated and died really out in the Bay of Campeche. If it were to make landfall in any of these spots, like along the Mexico coastline there, likely just, some windy rain, it just doesn't really kind of have a lot going on right now. And it's quite late in the season, Deborah. We got Marianne here watching on Facebook that says, you live east of Raleigh for the last 11 years. Shout out North Carolina, and kind of miss snow. Like I grew up in Cortland, New York. I mean, hey, that's a different kind of snow up there. Lake effect snow. Oh, I hear Jordan Hall. Jordan, can you hear me? Nice. What's up, Jordan? How are you?
Yo.
Oh, not too bad. Jordan, just let me finish my little rant here on snow, and then we'll chat about some stuff here.
Yep.
No worries. So Jack, if you want to pull up the app again there, and me, I guess. Let's see. We got some chat coming in from TikTok. Again, what's up, TikTok? Hope y'all are doing well here. What's going on? Oh, I locked the chat window. That's why I can't scroll up. All right. So TikTok, let's see what you're asking about. We got Boss Lady watching from Houston. What up, H-Town? EV Bill asking, what is happening with NOAA? I assume you are talking about the next presidential administration and what the future of that is. as with a lot of that, unclear. I think that from my personal, perspective, that would be quite a significant shift to do away with something like the National Weather Service. We'll see. But what I will tell you is that a lot of the things in my radar and the things that we serve to you as our users, some of it is proprietary, and we wouldn't necessarily be impacted in that sense. But EV Bill, your guess is as good as mine. We will have to see how that goes. Ash, watching from Aurora, Colorado. What's up? Memphis, shout out Memphis. Man, that Glorilla album is awesome, huh? Big fan. Hey, someone met you guys at the NAB show. What up? We're going back to NAB in Vegas in April. Jack, actually, behind the screen here, is going to be coming with us. All right, what else we got here? Someone says, watching from Oklahoma. We will talk about active weather in Oklahoma in just a moment here. I've got my radar storm chaser, Jordan Hall, out there. Jay Rodrigo asking, could it loop back to Florida? I assume you're talking about Rafael here. Highly, highly unlikely that it were to do that. Highly, highly unlikely. Samantha saying Tampa, cleaning up Milton. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's still some spots in Southwest Florida near where Ian made landfall in 2022 that are still cleaning up. So I wish you the best. Joe, watching from Lawrence, Kansas, and the Kansas City area. I use my radar all the time. What up, Joe? You a Chiefs fan? Y'all are pretty good. y'all are pretty good this year. I have a conspiracy theory, I guess, about that. I think that Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. I'd be curious to hear what Jordan has to say. I know he's a big football fan. He's an Indianapolis Colts fan, and he's convinced himself that Anthony Richardson is a good quarterback.
He is.
We'll talk. Yeah. So on that note, I think that the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. And I think that what happens is you got Travis Kelce running on the field. Travis Kelce, you just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next? Drops down on one knee, proposes to Taylor Swift. It's the most famous wedding proposal of all time. And he goes on to basically become the king of the world at that point. So that's what I think is going to go down.
Can I put my input on this?
Yeah. What's up, Jordan?
All right. I think you live too close to Disney World and everything's kind of a fairy tale.
My wife is a huge Swiftie, Jordan. I mean, I
like Taylor Swift. Nothing against Taylor Swift.
One could argue that if aliens came to if they landed here on Earth and they said, take us to your leader, one could argue Taylor Swift might be the most famous person on the planet, right? So take that for what it is. But Anthony Richardson, Jordan, what I was saying before, he's very athletic, but he is not a good quarterback, dude.
He has the potential to be a good quarterback. He's got to learn. He's got to develop. So
fair enough.
He's got a few years. He's a few years away from being a good quarterback.
Fair enough. Oh, we got as soon as we start talking football, people start chiming in the chat here. Samantha says, beat my Bucks on Monday. Yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield, Jordan he lives in Norman, Oklahoma. I think he's a big Baker guy. I went to college in Ohio, so a lot of my college friends are Browns fans, so that's real tough go. But they, of course, drafted Baker Mayfield, the last quarterback to win them a playoff game, and they shipped him out like yesterday's trash, and now he's out here balling out of control. So big shout out to Baker Mayfield. Sorry about your Bucks. But I'll pull for him. They're a Florida team, I do think Miami is going to win the national championship in college football. I said that from the beginning of the season, Jordan. I don't know if you remember that. Cam Ward.
I did hear that. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
You just think that, this was going to be your year with Jackson Arnold. How'd that work out,
No, you need an offensive line before you can do anything. So Oklahoma's got a bright future. They've got a few things to fix on offense. You want to hear my Super Bowl prediction for the NFL?
What is your Super Bowl prediction?
I think the Super Bowl is going to be the Detroit Lions versus the Ravens.
You said versus the Ravens?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. What I want is the Bills versus the Lions. That way, one of these tortured fan bases will finally win a Super Bowl. That would be exciting. But I co-sign what you said. The Lions are awesome. People are asking us to talk about weather. So Jordan, I know you and I can talk about sports. We'll weave around. Jordan, where are you driving right now, Jordan? Is that Wichita Falls? Where are you?
I'm almost to Palo Pinto, so I'm west of Mineral Wells, Texas, currently.
Gotcha. Okay, I see it. So Jordan is here. He's driving just outside of the Dallas metro area. You can see there's a pretty potent line of storms to his west here. There is a slight risk for severe weather today. That is a 2 out of 5 on the Storm Prediction Center scale. So 1 being that green color. Well, you have this light green color that's just general thunderstorms. Then you have that darker green color that is marginal risk, a 1 out of 5. And then slight risk, a 2 out of 5. It's that yellow color. Effectively, what that means is you'll have isolated pockets of severe thunderstorms that could possibly bring some severe weather. Jordan, let's talk about this severe weather threat here over the Texas area. Of course, I'm going to pull up on my web browser here the threat from the SPC so I can get the specific numbers. I mean, it's a huge amount of people that are under threat, right? Almost 7 million people, 6.7 million to be exact. Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Plano, Garland, all at risk here. It's got that 15% hail risk there, Jordan. But interestingly enough, Jack, if you want to pull up the web browser for just a moment so I can show some folks here, we've got the tornado threat. I might have to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it. Oh boy, went too fast. There it is. So the tornado threat, oh, that's the wind. Oh, I'm a mess. Come on. There it is. A 5% tornado risk. Jordan, it's November 8th, and the setup is a little sneaky. What are your thoughts here on the chance for tornadoes out there?
So I figured chasing yesterday and chasing today, I honestly think yesterday had a way higher ceiling on the tornado threat. Today is kind of downtrended, but there's still definitely a threat out here. This is actually very interesting. So your hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, I believe, is actually going to have an impact on your tornado threat today, as it's kind of cutting off your 850 millibar winds from really getting pumped into Dallas here. So it might hold that sustained tornado threat at bay, but we could still see a couple of brief tornado spin ups, and then obviously the hail threat is there. But overall, there is definitely a severe weather threat here, especially for the wind. I think the wind is going to be your bigger threat on the day. As you can see, we already have a line of cells making their way east. But I do think your tornado threat's definitely creeping a little bit further north near that Fort Worth or north towards like Bowie, Texas region.
Yeah, and Jordan, it looks like up into Oklahoma as well. This is kind of what I thought. And you're kind of going to deal with that when you're talking about vorticity. We're talking about spin. That the center of low pressure is up toward like Colorado, right? But kind of the little sweet spot there, right into Oklahoma, Jordan, like western Oklahoma, got some peak gusts up there near 40 to 45 miles per hour. I mean, we're venturing into severe wind gust territory up there. It just goes to show you, right, that the threat can extend outside of the slight risk area.
Right, yeah, because you have that big bowling ball low that's up there near the panhandle. And so it's super interesting because you have, blizzard conditions up in Colorado. You have the severe conditions down here in northern Texas. And then you also have the hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. So very active across the United States. And then you also have the critical fire danger in California. So weather is just happening.
And elevated in the Northeast, too. I mean, it's that time of year, Jordan, right, where Mother Nature's kind of, it's very evident when you're going through like the transition of seasons, right? Of course, the days that the seasons change are different from the meteorological start to the seasons, right? So we're about to kind of transition into meteorological winter, right? Despite how most would, look at a calendar and say that's the end of December, right? So we are right there. Interestingly enough, if we switch back to the app here, Jack, you can see that some people like to joke around with the way that the SPC kind of draws outlines. This is the avocado pit, if you will. The evil avocado, as people will call it, when you kind of get this look here from the convective outlook here. But yeah, a lot of active weather going on. For folks, again, that are watching us here on social media, my name is Mike Linden. I'm a meteorologist with MyRadar. I'm joined by storm chaser Jordan Hall. He's driving in Texas. We're just here to kind of chat with you guys about all things weather-wise. Again, remember, it is a holiday weekend. Big shout out to all of the men and women of the armed services. Of course, Monday is Veterans Day, so be sure to thank the men and women of the armed forces. If you come across any of them, thank them for their service. You have the day off from work on Monday for the sacrifice that they make. So big shout out to them. Again, be sure to follow us across all of our social media platforms that you're watching on. We're here on TikTok again. Our suspension was lifted from Hurricane Milton. So if you are watching on TikTok, we'd really appreciate it if you were to follow us. And that way, you always know whenever we drop a new TikTok or, of course, whenever we go live. And hey, tap on the screen. Send us some likes, too. We got only 1,500 likes. Let's crank that number up here. And hey, of course, share the live. Well, compared to what it's like during a hurricane. And hey, share the live stream. We'd really appreciate it. Again, we are here to answer any of the questions that you might have. We got Samantha watching on Facebook. I guess when I was talking about who I think is going to win the college football championship, she said, "Love the Miami Hurricanes, just not real hurricanes."
Yes.
I'm with you there. Although, of course, hurricanes for us in the weather world, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to hurricanes here.
I've done 10 tropical systems this year.
And so how many countries you've got? Let me see if I can name them here, Jordan. You've got Japan, you've got Mexico, you've got the United States, you've got Taiwan. Is that it?
And you got one more.
Oh, you were in Bermuda, right?
Bermuda, yes.
Yes. All right.
So
You're a world traveler this hurricane season.
Yeah. 10 tropical systems, 9 of them were cyclones in 5 different countries.
Which do you think was the most impactful for you being on the ground?
Most impactful for me being on the ground was definitely Helene with the flooding in the Carolinas and then obviously the storm surge. The most intense one I wrote out was, surprisingly enough, Typhoon Shanshan in southern Japan. And that was a category 2 typhoon, but it was honestly stronger than anything I felt the rest of the year, and 2 of the category 4s I wrote out. So oddly enough.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Oh, we got a mesoscale discussion that just got issued for the Dallas Fort Worth area all the way down to Waco.
Okay, Andy just messaged me there, Jack. Big shout out to our CEO, the founder as well, Andy Green. He just asked if we. Oh, okay, I see. Ooh, hello, Steph. Yeah, he was asking if we wanted to do a push for the live stream, but we're not streaming in the app.
There we go.
Hang on, guys.
Trying to figure out my target on it.
So Joe, who's watching here on Facebook, Joe said the weather transition really has it all happening. Jack, if you want to pull my web browser up again, I mean, this post here on X kind of shows it all, right? Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it, right? I think Capucci tweeted this just because I think I know how he writes things. Yep, it's November, and you're seeing a hurricane, a blizzard, and a tornado threat all within 1,500 miles. I mean, it's pretty striking, Jordan, where, again, that transition between summer and fall/winter weather. I mean, I say summer because it feels like it's this summer. You know, it is fall, right? What I'm saying is that hurricane season has just been such a blur, where kind of transitioning out of the fall now going into that winter, it's very, very striking when you see this satellite imagery, being that, again, you've got blizzard conditions across Colorado. You've got a tornado threat today across Texas and severe storms potentially pushing into Oklahoma. You've got at one point earlier today a major hurricane over the Gulf of Mexico that, if this were to be, again, August or September, the urgency in Jordan and I's voice would be considerably different, just based on where Rafael is in the Gulf of Mexico. You've got elevated fire danger up in the northeastern United States, and as well as fire danger out toward the Los Angeles area in California. So there's just simply so much happening weather-wise that you're just seeing a lot of ugliness kind of happening. There is, again, a bit of a silver lining to all of this, whereas Jordan kind of touched on before. each of these kind of events is kind of having an impact on one another. Some good, some bad. On the downside of things, the hurricane over the Gulf of Mexico is kind of ramping up the opportunity for that severe weather across parts of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro today. But then on the flip side, as that front kind of advances from the west, moving through Texas, it should work to kind of push Rafael southward and kind of spare the entire Gulf Coast at that point. So it's certainly a trade-off, most definitely. Jordan, is there anything that you want to add there that I didn't necessarily touch on? I know that you've kind of been putting in the miles here lately.
Yeah, no, something cool to like point out for people to see, I would say, is how the cone of uncertainty changed so much with this hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. Because at one point I was gearing up to go to Louisiana to prepare for a tropical storm. And then now it's literally done a 180-degree turn and going straight south. So that's just a really good, I think it's a really good example of showing you how much the cone can change on your forecast.
So, Jack, if you want to take the app up here, I'll show folks again. Look at the wind here. These are winds at the surface in my radar, and you can again see the center of circulation right here around Rafael. When I turn on the clouds layer, mind you, I mean, look at all that dry air to the west of it, right? Now, that dry air is certainly kind of keeping the slate nice and clean out there across Texas and is really allowing for those storms to get pretty nasty. But on the flip side, that drier air is just getting sucked into Rafael, and it's kind of choking the real engine here. It's really almost like putting, there's that big prank on TikTok for like the TikTok dads, where their kids would call their dad and say, "Hey, I put diesel I put the green one in the engine. Is that bad?" And of course, the dads would freak out. It's kind of like putting the wrong kind of fuel into the storm because it doesn't want dry air, right? Dry air might be good for development of severe storms over parts of like Texas, for example. That's why, of course, you get dry line set up. Jordan can talk all day long, I think, about dry line. But for a tropical event, dry air is not its friend, right? So that's working against it in a major way right now. If I turn on the surface or the jet stream winds, again, that's the air upstairs here, you'll find that you've got here, I mean, just look at that trough here. Golly. I don't know, Jordan, you can't see this, but just look at the tilt on that trough. So this is, again.
I can see it. Yeah, look at that.
Okay, that is a monster trough over the panhandle there. So again, right here on the edge of it there, you're going to see some fast-moving storms. You already have that really tight line developing there. But then, of course, all of that moisture down south, that's coming from near Mexico and kind of coming off of the western or the eastern Pacific there, all that moisture is heading northward and just kind of running into all this super cold air that's already in place over the Midwestern and central United States. And it's just creating, again, this conveyor belt of snow right now. So let me turn the winds off so y'all can see this a little better, right? So that's why, if I turn on the temperatures too, just look at how wild the temperature differential is here too. Down into Texas, you've got some land-based temperatures in the upper 60s and lower 70s. Remember, folks, it's November 8th, right? Out ahead of that front, an 80 degree there for Waco, 66. But then you don't go too far away from it there near Guymon. That's Oklahoma, right? Right there in the panhandle there. 42 degrees. 39 degrees for parts of western Kansas. And then you get into Colorado and you see 31, 34, 32, 18 for this particular station here, just west of Denver. You start going west of Denver, this is at elevation here, right? Like as you're driving into the mountains. So again, really nasty conditions. I know that folks in the My Radar team that live out here, a big shout out to Jason. I'm not sure if Jason's watching. He was saying that it was really coming down out that way. And for the folks that live here south of Denver, like Colorado Springs area there, likely to see the heaviest snowfall, more than likely another foot of snow coming over the weekend. So there was some debate here on the holiday weekend whether or not the folks that live out there are going to go skiing. One also thing to mention here, NOAA just put out this report earlier this morning. Jack, if you want to take the web browser. So this past October 2024, was the second warmest on record. Of course, record keeping began in 1855. So, of course, there were years prior to 1855 that likely could have, been in the record books, but this is as far back as our record keeping goes. What's really, really interesting here is that a record 87% of the United States was in a drought or unusually dry. That is really striking, 87%. So we're going into the winter months when things, of course, are going to be dry, at least traditionally speaking. And we're already going into that kind of at a deficit in some spots here. But when you're talking about the departure from average, or, again, in this case, it would be warmer than normal, right? Anywhere where you're seeing this kind of reddish color represents, a 10 or so degree difference from where things should be normally. Of course, there's quite a few spots here over the eastern side that did not necessarily report warmer than normal temperatures, but a lot of that likely has to do with the fact that you saw a lot of tropical activity, and of course that would create for the cloud cover and kind of limiting the real upper bound limits of the daytime heating there. Same thing goes, you can really see that here up in the Pacific Northwest, where of course, the joke is that any person from Seattle will tell you, oh, it's beautiful here during the summer, but that's because the rest of the year there's a lot of clouds. No shot at the Pacific Northwest. I love it up there. Seattle and Portland, there's a reason why people that are born up that way just go, I'm good. I don't need to go anywhere else. This is cool up here. There's a reason for that. Portland, one of my favorite cities in America. Anyway, I digress. Just a crazy October. And now we transition into just a really wacky November thus far here.
If you want to pull something up that's really interesting, Mike, you can pull up the Oklahoma mesonet. And you could see that Oklahoma was in a pure drought and 20 days ago, and now they've had almost the whole state's almost had 10 inches of rain. So in the last 14 days.
Oh yeah, there it is, the rainfall accumulation. Yeah, holy cow, look at that. Over just the past 24 hours alone, 3 inches of rain over parts of western Oklahoma.
Yeah, they're getting a lot, and then they'll have even more rain today, and then if it does show you a 14-day rain, if it shows you the last 14 days, that'll blow your mind too. I saw a mesonet map from earlier today of the rainfall in the last 14 days, and it was pretty significant.
I don't know how to pull it up here. I guess past data here. Would it be precipitation normals?
Probably, yeah.
No, that's just normal precipitation.
The mesonet website is very cool. I really enjoy the Oklahoma mesonet.
Here's the drought monitor though, right? So you've got almost all of the state, other than the Panhandle up there, that is experiencing drought. That yellow color is again, it ranks with 0 to 4. 0 being none, the white color being there's no drought, and then 0 is abnormally dry, and it kind of cranks up from there. So you look at most of Oklahoma, the severe drought, that's that orange color. It's not ideal, of course, when you are dealing with the potential for fires. Some of the most significant wildfires in Colorado state history have occurred around this time of year, being that things really start to dry out. Notice right here, Jordan, we got it right here. So 3 months ago, it's the percentage of drought. So yeah, last week alone, 83% of drought conditions. Yeah, so it's not ideal for the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, the system's definitely kind of like a drought buster, in my opinion.
Samantha here chiming in on Facebook saying, and look at Spain, the rain is out of control. Yeah, I mean, of course, Valencia, Spain, and the entire country of Spain, but Valencia, one of the hardest hit areas there, experienced, flooding unlike they've ever seen before. I mean, shoot, North Carolina experienced that with Helene. You're talking about a incredibly significant generational type of flooding event. Not to mention that with the rain that came from Milton in the St. Petersburg area, they had experienced a 1 in 1,000 year rain event. That doesn't mean that it's only going to happen once every 1,000 years. It's kind of a statistical kind of expression in the sense where there is a 0.01% likelihood of that occurring, right? So if you're looking at it from an odds perspective, probably the same odds that you would give Jordan's Indianapolis Colts or my New York Giants to win the Super Bowl this year. Very, very low. Very, very low chances of that happening. My Giants played the Panthers in Germany this weekend, and the Panthers have 2 wins on the season. Both of the teams that they beat fired their coaches. So Brian Daboll got to be very concerned going into that game against the Panthers. That'd be a long, long flight home from Germany if they don't pull the win out. All right. So we got a lot of folks here that are watching us across social media. Again, we are streaming live on YouTube, on Twitch, Facebook, X, and on TikTok as well. We'll keep it rolling here. If y'all have any questions for myself, if you have any questions for Jordan, this is your opportunity to kind of ask it. Remember, it is a holiday weekend, so a lot of folks are going to be traveling and maybe heading outside to enjoy that last bit of warmth before things really kind of really settle in. So if you guys have any questions, we really appreciate it. Of course, if you are watching here on TikTok, we, of course, appreciate your support as always. If you haven't already, follow us here on TikTok. It's totally free to do so. That way you always know whenever we drop a new video, of course, whenever we go live. We're going to be doing a lot more live streaming across all of our platforms, but TikTok is a great platform to engage with us, to ask us questions in real time. And hey, tap on the screen. We really appreciate your support as well. We got someone here on TikTok that says, condolences on being a Giants fan. Listen, I had it good growing up. You know, I got to see 2 Super Bowl wins against, you know, the greatest quarterback to ever live in Tom Brady there. So I had my time in the sun. So did Jordan. Jordan had Peyton Manning. They won that Super Bowl with, I would say, the greatest halftime show ever with Prince. I mean, it doesn't really get better than singing Purple Rain, and as you start singing it, it starts to rain. Kind of hard to beat that. To be quite candid. Although, now I can't remember who just did the Super Bowl halftime show this past year. Help me, Jordan. Who did the halftime show this year?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, my God. It was very good.
Rihanna. I feel like Rihanna was the year before.
No, and like Dr. Dre was the year before. Dr. Dre and Eminem. And
was it Rihanna then?
Oh, it was Usher. It was Usher this year. It was Usher.
That's right.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good,
Rihanna
too.
was I think Snoop Dogg and them was 2 years ago. Or no, 3 years ago, because Rihanna was the year before last year.
Yeah, all right. We got folks that are helping us out on TikTok. They're saying it was Usher. I thought it was great. And of course, you had that viral moment of the person on roller skates that like fell off the stage. She was okay. But boy, that was funny seeing that on TikTok. She's like, "Hi, I'm that person that that went viral." She was okay, of course, but that was very comical. And then, of course, you can't have Usher out there and not bring Lil Jon in. So that the millennial in me was very excited to see all of that. Calamity says, I'm a New Yorker. I fully understand. Yeah, it ain't a good year for New York football, unless, of course, you're talking about the Bills, the only true New York football team. The Giants and Jets play in New Jersey. If we're being real here, the only New York football team is having a great season, the Buffalo Bills. But I don't know if Jason is watching, who works with us here. He's a Jets fan. I know he's a very passionate Jets fan. Jordan, we can both agree that team stinks, right? They're terrible.
Oh, the Aaron Rodgers experience is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, of course, he tore his Achilles like last season.
All right, we have a tornado warning in Oklahoma as of right now. It's
all right,
tornado warning.
Let's see it here. Let me turn the watches off.
On the northern tip of the 2%.
What is going on here? The northern tip. Oh, okay. I see what you're
That's likely a tornado. Actually, that is likely very much a tornado there. Near Loveland, Oklahoma. There's likely a tornado there.
Oh, I see what's happening here. It's the winter one. All right, there it is. So there's the tornado warning. Jordan, thank you for bringing that to our attention. We've got active weather to talk about, folks. Let's do it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the per station radar. We're going to pick the, see what's happening here. It's the layering. Stand by. Let me take care of that. Turn the flooding off. Great. There we go. All right.
Could be a little
So
there.
this is kind of that kink in the line setup here, Jordan, right? It's right here.
That's an embedded supercell, I think.
It's embedded right here, if you guys can see it here on TikTok. It's right there, the twist. And we're going to throw the velocity on. And yeah, there it is. Okay. So remember, green represents wind going toward the radar site. Red is wind going away from the radar site. So when you see something like this, where you start to see, again, the colors kind of clashing with one another, that at least is the sign of rotation. This tornado warning here is valid for the next 21 minutes. This is for Comanche County, Cotton County, and Tillman County. Chattanooga, Faxon is part of this. Y'all need to be in your safe place. There is a radar-indicated tornado here just to the northwest of the Granfield Municipal Airport. We're going to switch over to the correlation coefficient here. And Jordan, I'm not seeing anything on the CC that is like really jumping out at me here. But definitely picking up on some stuff there.
Probably some leaves.
Yeah, I was going to say, so the CC product, folks, as Capucci likes to say, it looks like a bucket of spilled paint. What it is effectively looking at is it's looking at objects that don't belong in the vertical profile of the atmosphere, right? So it's scanning around the radar beam, of course, in a 3D volumetric sense. And it's looking for things that effectively don't fit the norm of what you would normally find in the air, right, with water droplets. In this sense, it's looking for objects that are jagged. Now, if there were to be the presence of a really strong tornado, you'd probably see this big bright blue dot. That would be indicative of what we would call a debris ball, which Jordan can attest to. You really only see that in the strongest of tornadoes. We're talking EF3 and above, because at that sense, there's something on the ground, right? The funnel cloud is no longer a funnel cloud. It's a tornado, because it doesn't become a tornado until it officially touches the ground. If it's strong enough, it will kick up debris. And debris could be literally anything, a car, a person. If you've watched the Twisters movie, a cow, right? Parts of, a house. The radar isn't necessarily going to be able to determine like that's a person and that's a building. It's just an object. So in this sense, not seeing anything on the CC to indicate that there is anything that is super strong, at least on the ground here. But at least looking in the velocity scan, you can definitely see that kink in the line. You can really kind of see it starting to wrap around a little bit here. Jordan, we'll switch next to the composite reflectivity here, and you can kind of see, as Jordan talked about, that embedded supercell. Now, of course, a supercell is a thunderstorm that has a effectively spin within it, right? It is kind of a thunderstorm plus, if you will, right? You got the iPhone, and then you got the iPhone Pro Max, right? This is a thunderstorm Pro Max, if you think about it in that sense, right? So it has a deep column of rotating air. And that is what you're finding here, where if I zoom out a little bit, you can see, again, that rotation and that kink in the line there, because this is all part of a larger QLCS kind of setup, or a quasi-linear convective setup. Looking quasi-linear, right? It's a line. Now, Jordan, are you seeing anything on your end that's telling you otherwise here?
Not currently, but it doesn't mean that there isn't something very weak that could be there. But there's definitely rotation there.
Yeah.
Especially as you look into the higher tilts in the environment too. It's definitely sustained up into the upper levels. So definitely a strong mesocyclone there.
So that's something that we can do in my radar here. I've got the velocity scan here, and I'm going to click this arrow here. We'll go to the level 2. Again, this is looking at different elevation scans within the atmosphere. So that was, again, at the base. That's level 2. Here's level 3, right? And level 4, right? So it doesn't mean that necessarily that the air is... It doesn't mean that this particular tornado is moving in that sense. It's just showing you that throughout the entire profile of the atmosphere, that there is, again, that rotation that is present, and it is deep, right? So again, these are all things that the National Weather Service looks at when they go to issue a tornado warning. A watch, of course, means that if you think about it in the sense of like a pizza watch would be, you've got cheese, you've got dough, the oven is preheated, right? You got your pizza steel in there, a pizza stone, whatever, it doesn't matter. You got all your toppings. It's all out. Everything's ready. But you still have raw ingredients. You don't have a pizza, right? A pizza warning would mean like, hey, pizza's ready to come out of the oven now. It's time to eat pizza, right? So in this sense, this is indeed a tornado warning. The ingredients are there. Things have come together. And they are suggesting that there is at least the possibility of that tornado to be present. You can see that it is starting to kind of straighten out a little bit, but again, you are still seeing some definite sign of rotation in there. Andy is just messaging me here. So Jack, if you're able to get the app. Jack, if you can take the title and description and I guess get it into the app, and we'll do a push alert to Texas and Oklahoma here. So I guess for the I'd have to like type it up here.
Keep an eye too. Don't forget. Definitely keep an eye there. South of that cell near Grandfield are Burke Burnett. Just to the northwest of Burke Burnett could be coming together there as well. There's definitely some convergence ongoing there.
All right, I've got to type something out here. Stand by. So Jordan, if you want to talk about the setup there.
Yeah, so it's definitely looking more like this tornado threat is going to extend a little further north than what is expected, and that's I would say that's definitely due to that surface low that's in the panhandle of Oklahoma lifting north and pulling a lot of that low-level moisture out of the Gulf and southern Texas further north, north of the Red River into like Lawton and that south central Oklahoma there, and that's why we're starting to see some of these. This new tornado warning that was issued southwest of Lawton and possibly a couple more throughout the day. So we definitely could see a few more of these warnings present as we go into the early to mid-afternoon here.
Jack, I think for the title and description of the video, you could change it a little. Jack, can you reach out to Capucci and grab from him like a title description and then the pushes? That'd be very helpful. Okay, so we're gonna get this video into the app here, and we'll make that happen. I got someone on TikTok here that says, I saw your My Radar Cybertruck being trailered through Las Vegas. Yeah, we were out there for the ITC conference, the InsurTech conference, and then we shipped it back to me in Florida. So shout out to the My Radar Cybertruck. That thing is super fun to drive. It's like the most fun vehicle I've ever driven in my entire life. Say what you will about the design. It is most definitely a polarizing design, but it is, I'm 6'3", so like it's very comfortable inside. So big shout out to the Cybertruck. Someone says, makes sense. I have a cool pic of it. Nice. That's awesome. My kids love being in that thing. They're big fans of the Cybertruck. All right. So Jordan, you were saying that there's the other storm there that was looking potentially a little hazardous?
Yeah, that'll be over there near Burke Burnett. That'll be north of Wichita Falls, just south of that other tornado warning. You have another embedded cell there that's got some convergence ongoing just on the northwest side of Burnett. There. And I'm also coming up on my cell here too, near Jacksboro, Texas, getting a good view here in a moment.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on this tornado warning storm here. It looks like the rotation is
definitely still there on the Chattanooga one.
All right. So we'll let that load in here. There it is. So yeah, it's heading for Chattanooga and Faxon, Texas, not Tennessee, for those of you that are just joining us here. Or this is Oklahoma. What am I talking about? Chattanooga. Yeah, we're in Oklahoma. That's what I thought. Apologies, folks. This is Chattanooga, Oklahoma. So it's southwest of Lawton. Now, this is for the next 12 minutes. Now, Jordan, they are... Oh, no, okay. All right, I read it wrong.
They did just issue a tornado watch. So
yeah.
Just now, they issued a tornado watch for... it includes the Dallas area. So...
Yeah, gonna be an interesting night for those folks that live there. All right. Someone's saying anything in Granbury, Texas to worry about tornado-wise. So let's see where Granbury is, because I am unfamiliar. Okay. No, you're behind everything. So not quite. Where did it take me?
And that tornado watch goes all the way up to Pauls Valley, Oklahoma.
Yeah, let me toggle that on so we can show folks. So there's the tornado watch. As Jordan suggested, it is fairly large and does include some very, very big parts of the world. We've got Killeen, Waco, Dallas, Fort Worth, McKinney, Denton, and that goes into Wichita State, Lawton, Duncan, Ardmore. So Texas, Oklahoma, tornado watch that is set to expire in 7 hours. So that goes until 9 o'clock Central Time. With wind gusts up towards of 70 miles per hour, potentially some severe hail over an inch in diameter, and of course, the tornado threat. That is what we are already seeing right now here. So let's head back here to this tornado warning. There is the area of rotation.
I had to help a turtle cross the road.
Very nice.
There we go.
Yeah, even Capucci tweeting about the tornado threat out there. Samantha says, I'm out. Stay safe. Go Bucks. All right. Go Bucks indeed. Thanks for joining us. Bless you, Jordan.
Thank you.
All right, so let's turn this up. I'm going to slow the animation down just a little bit here. Crank that up. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly tightening up a little bit there, Jordan. It is still there.
In Oklahoma up there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not surprised due to the fact it's closer to that surface low, and you have way better inflow up there with a low level jet pumping right into that. So I would not be surprised to see that one near Burke Burnett wrap up here too shortly.
And so we'll keep an eye on this thing.
Yeah, near
Although
the bowl.
I feel like I might need to, if anything here, Jack, might need to stop the TikTok stream and then rename it. I don't think I can rename it after the fact because, I mean, we're talking about Raphael. But obviously we are... Right, exactly. But it's all good. I was not anticipating this to blow up as early as it did. But we move.
Right.
Jewel, any hurricanes headed to Tampa, Florida? No. Jenks, Oklahoma? Sure, we can look at Jenks, Oklahoma.
This cell I'm on right here could do something too here pretty soon. Big CG. Bolt.
Jenks right here to the south of Tulsa. So you are not in the tornado watch tonight. I would expect things to kind of peter out a little bit as it gets to closer to you tonight there in Jenks. So can we show, I don't want to show it on TikTok because I'm scared about showing Jordan's chaser camera on TikTok there, but if we can show it on the rest of the stream here. Yeah, so there's Jordan. He's out in Jacksboro, Texas. So he's kind of targeting the Dallas area, right, Jordan?
Yeah, no, I was targeting the Dallas area, but I might actually stick with the cells that are tracking to the east northeast towards Bowie, Texas. I think the further north you are, the higher your tornado threat today with that low level jet and your surface winds there. At the closer to the low you can be. So
yeah. So someone on TikTok just asked, where's Raphael headed? Need to know for work. Well, unless you work in somewhere in the Bay of Campeche, Mexico, that's kind of where it's going. It is not much of a threat to the United States whatsoever. It was an interesting cone. I mean, a couple of days ago, one might have thought that it was coming up toward Texas and Louisiana. That is no longer the case. Jack, I'm going to switch the... I'm going to turn off the weather out or winter outlook. And we'll just let the satellite loop go here. Heck of a satellite loop there with Raphael out over the Gulf. And then up near Jordan, tornadoes. Sure.
I'm trying to get up here I'm going to try to get to Bowie, Texas. The cell near west of Jacksboro is really getting attacked together.
Can you spell that for me, Jordan?
What was that?
Bowie? Bowie, Texas? How do we spell that?
Bowie.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, if you take a look at the radar,
okay, I see it. I see it. All right, let's take a look.
Up. If you pull lightning on it too, it's spitting out a chunk of lightning. So
yeah, throw is not going to reach. I guess I have to use that radar.
Just trying to get through Jacksboro before I get ran over by this storm.
Okay, I see where you're looking. You said it's near Jacksboro right now?
Yeah, just to the west northwest of Jacksboro is the cell I'm on. And that's the one that's going to track northeast towards Bowie, Texas.
Okay, so I see the one you're on now.
I'm trying to get through Jacksboro so I can get on the highway. I want to stay out ahead of this line because it could easily wrap up just like it did up there near Lawton. So
yeah, a lot of lightning.
People are driving crazy today. I've had people driving the wrong way down the road. Everything all day. It's been kind of gnarly.
All right, so now we can see. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely embedded rotation within it here, but nothing that is like as clear, right, as this guy up here near Chattanooga.
Right.
Which it is starting to kind of lose its oomph a little bit here. Like, again, it would be right here near Chattanooga. And you can see, again, a lot tighter down here when it was not tornado warned. Then it tightened up right here. Okay. And then as we push that out. Oh, another tornado warning there, Jordan. It just dropped.
Yep, that Burke-Burnett storm that I was talking about.
Yep. So this is for Comanche County, Cotton County, and Tillman County in southwestern Oklahoma. This is until 2:30 Central Time. So that is the next 33 minutes. So let's examine what's going on here. This is, again, all part of that same line. All part of that same line. And it's right there. Of course. Yeah, we're done talking about that for the most part. Yeah. So I see what they're warning it here. We go to the composite reflectivity. This is all that kink in the line. I mean, this one up here has more of my attention up here near Chattanooga. That's more of the interesting storm that's going on right now, in my humble opinion. But this one here, of course, we're talking about as well. You can again see the embedded rotation right here for folks that are that live along the Interstate 44 corridor here, Geronimo. You need to be in your safe place. Same thing goes if you are in Faxon, Oklahoma, near Cache, on its way toward Lawton and the Lawton Fort Still Regional Airport. Again, we've got another.
Are moving fast.
Yeah, we've got another minute here on that tornado warning. I would anticipate that that is extended here momentarily. Is Oklahoma okay for the night? You certainly need to have multiple ways of receiving alerts. Again, download the My Radar app. It is completely free to do so. I'm using it here on Windows. You can download it on iOS, Android, on the Amazon platforms, coming soon to Apple TV as well. So you can download the app and we will alert you if there is, let's say, a tornado warning near where you live. Someone said this is the app I've used for years. I didn't know you guys had a TikTok. I'm thankful I found you. Welcome to the club. If you haven't already, and hey, you're watching us here on TikTok, we'd really appreciate it if you were to follow us. It's somewhere above my head here. You can click follow. It's completely free to do so, of course. And the app is completely free to download as well. And that way you always know whenever we drop a new video, of course, whenever we go live here on TikTok. And hey, tap on the screen, send us some support. We really, really appreciate that too. And hey, share the live stream out to any of your family or friends here that live in the Oklahoma, Texas area where we are looking at, again, storm development here over the next couple of hours. So yeah, it's that. Did they extend this yet? 1 minute. So it says 0 minutes remaining. My guess is that they're going to extend that one, Jordan, north of Chattanooga there.
There's also some new development on this down this line that I'm on south of Jacksboro near Mineral Wells. You have 2 new cells that have fired on that line that are semi-isolated right now too.
Mm-hmm.
Near Palo Pinto and Grafford. Those will just converge into that line segment that's tracking to the east-northeast.
Yeah, so that's not heading for the Dallas metro area.
That should skirt just north. That'll probably go closer to Decatur.
So it looks like they canceled the tornado warning for that storm in Chattanooga. So the National Weather Service not as concerned about that anymore. And to be fair, it is kind of getting... These storms are moving so fast, like Jordan alluded to before, that sometimes what happens is even if there is rotation, like you can see it kind of right here, that little notch there, that coming in from the back side of it there, it kind of just all splits apart. It kind of becomes occluded, like it's run over effectively. So we'll see if it tries to put something down again. But in the meantime, you've got this cell here near Devil, apologies on my pronunciation there, that is definitely showing further signs of development. So we'll keep an eye on that. Again, it's very linear. So it's not anything that's really, really standing out to me in terms of that really tight kind of rotation. But needless to say, it is at least something that is present there west of the I-44 corridor, north of Randlet and north of Devol. So for folks that live in Faxon, Geronimo, you need to be ready to get into your safe place, of course, just in case you are under a tornado warning here for the next 28 minutes. That includes parts of Comanche County, Cotton County, and Tillman counties. So they are talking about that tornado-producing potential supercell that was at one point over Devol. Moving northeast, 35 miles per hour. These things are booking, Jordan.
Yeah, the one that's next to me right now is moving at 55 miles an hour. So
That's fast.
very fast. I'm actually
Highway
gonna
speed.
I'm actually gonna be putting a drone shot up here in about 10 minutes. So
Nice.
you guys should be able to tap into the live drone as well.
Into the live drone? How will we do that?
Just you'll just be able to grab my live stream. It'll be there.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, Jordan, let us know when that is ready to rock. I think that should be fine to show on TikTok. I'm like super concerned now. With
I don't know
showing
why it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I'm not streaming on TikTok at all. I never stream there. So
No, I mean, we're streaming on TikTok right now, and I think if we were to show you driving, for example, like that could become a problem.
Oh,
I don't know why that is. I don't know why that is, but we were able to speak with somebody internally there at ByteDance, and they said that it was a result of the driving. Again, they weren't specific, but it is what it is. All right. I think maybe what we'll do here is I am going to, Jack, I am going to stop the TikTok stream and then just restart it here, being that I think that it was talking about Raphael. So I'm going to do that right now. For the folks that are watching us here on TikTok, we're not necessarily going anywhere. I'm just going to stop the stream for a moment, rename it, being that we're not really talking about Raphael anymore. We're talking more about tornadoes. And then I'm just going to spin it right. No, it's really limited, Jack, with what I can do on TikTok. All right. So for all you TikTok folks, I'm going to stop the stream for a moment. I will be right back. All right. So just be sure again to follow us here. That way you know, and you'll be able to see Jordan's live drone shot here momentarily. All right, folks. We will be right back. I mean, you could. Yeah, I mean, you could. All right, so stand by, everybody.
All right.
All right, TikTok is back up. All right, so we should see folks coming in here momentarily. All right, people are coming back in, which is great. All right, so we still got folks watching on the other social media platforms. Cool. We got people coming back in. What's up, Travis? We're back. I told you I just wanted to rename things. I think it just helps with discovery on TikTok, which is great. Again, thank you all very much for joining us here. My name is Mike Linden. I'm a meteorologist with My Radar. It is November 8th, Friday at 3:05 Eastern Time. Of course, I'm coming to you live from the My Radar studio here in Orlando, Florida. But what, of course, you can see on your screen here, we are tracking severe weather in Texas and Oklahoma. We've got Jordan Hall, of course, My Radar storm chaser, who is out in Texas, right, Jordan? That's where you are?
Yep. And we got live drone up right now.
All right, Jack, we can show this on TikTok. So let's do this. We have never done before, at least on our TikTok page. We are going to show you Jordan flying his drone live, which is really exciting. We're going to get a real good shot of the storms. So stand by here on TikTok, folks. Again, we are looking at this tornado warning right now. That's got 23 minutes to go for South Central Comanche County and northwestern Cotton counties. Radar indicated rotation. You can kind of see the kink in the line right here. Right, you can see my mouse cursor right here. It's still pretty weak, but it's certainly something that we are going to keep an eye on here.
There we go.
Jack,
there it is.
Jack, if you're able to switch, yeah, because we're looking at it here on Jordan's drone. Jordan, you should have waited to take off. Oh, there it is. How cool is this on TikTok, ladies and gentlemen, and on social media? Jordan is, he's a pro here. Now, let's see if we can get some lightning flashes in there, Jordan, because you're on that cell that, again, near Jacksboro. right?
Yep, we're looking
That
southwest. I'm going to zoom in here. We're looking southwest at Jacksboro, so you can actually see a little bit of the lowering there on the cell.
so
And you can see
it's
the
also,
left to right movement too.
I was going to say, for folks that, might be looking at this and going, well, that's not all that exciting. It's a cloud. Folks, it's moving really fast. Jordan, you said 55 miles per hour that cell was moving at?
Yep, that's what the severe thunderstorm warning on it is. Oh,
So, so
there's a little horizontal spin there. You can see it in the white cloud basis. You can see the horizontal spin ongoing right there.
yeah. Now, of course, folks, what you need to be concerned with here, first would be the presence of a wall cloud, which is effectively like a sudden lowering underneath the storm. It's not a funnel cloud, right? The funnel cloud is going to, again, kind of go vertical and begin to rotate. I mean, it is rotating in the horizontal, and then it eventually goes straight up and down, seemingly. But a wall cloud is that sudden lowering underneath the deck. That has not necessarily occurred just yet. Jordan has seen, I would imagine, his hundreds of wall clouds. He knows what he's looking at here. We will certainly let you know if we see one. But that being said, just a ton of motion as this thing hurtles from west to east here. This is all part of that larger system that is bringing snow to the Colorado area too. This is all just wrapping around that calm ahead and kind of being pushed somewhat northward by Hurricane Rafael there over the Gulf of Mexico. That is,
I'm actually going to bring it back down and keep moving, but I'll stream the landing here.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, so Hurricane Rafael, you can see it behind my head here. Kind of a bit of a nothing burger. Not too much going on there, right? How about this? You can see Jordan. Jordan's drone is, I mean, look at the lens on that thing. It is spectacular. Good stuff here. So for all you folks that are watching us on social media, we really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us.
There we go. That's pretty cool, huh?
Yes. All right. So Jack, you can stop the stream there. Perfect. That was awesome, Jordan. Okay.
All right. Whoops, don't want to break the rotor there.
Yeah, don't break any of the drone. I know that your drone is fairly expensive.
Props are pretty they can handle. They can take a beating.
Hey, DJ Stevie, thank you very much for that gift on TikTok. We really, really appreciate it very much. Thank you. Again, for those of you that are joining us here on TikTok, we really appreciate you joining us and across all of our social media platforms, I should mention, and streaming live. Jack, are we in the app yet? Gotcha. Yeah, again, appreciated very, very much all of y'all joining us. We're going to be streaming here for at least another hour or so. Thanks, DJ Steve. Appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. And again, for those of you that are just joining us on TikTok, hey, we really appreciate it if you were to follow us on the platform. It should be right above my head here. Just click follow. That we always know whenever we drop a new video. Of course, whenever we go live, we really appreciate your support as always. Tap on the screen. You can send your support that way by liking the live stream on TikTok, and then, hey, sharing it too really helps things as well. So again, this is not, this huge severe weather event, but we hadn't streamed in a little bit here. Kind of wanted to shake the rust off a little bit. I myself was on PTO over the past week, so kind of wanted to shake the old cobwebs off a little bit, if you will. And of course, we've got some weather to talk about. Not only are we talking about a tornado threat here across the central plains of the United States, we've got Hurricane Rafael that's cooking there in the Gulf of Mexico. We've also got blizzard conditions up into Colorado, where some folks south of Denver are likely to see a foot of snow here over the next 24 hours, if not a little bit more. But when it comes to Rafael, that's kind of going to die there in the Gulf of Mexico. Not too much going on. DJ Steve says, what about the hurricane over Cuba? So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Rafael. It was at one point over Cuba. You can see it here. Let me throw on the high def radar. Right? So there's Rafael. It's not going to do all that much beyond what you're seeing here. Right? It did pass over Cuba as a major, right? Which is very interesting. It was a major hurricane earlier today. But Rafael right now, it is weakening. It's at Category 2, 109 miles per hour. And effectively what's going to happen here, you've got so much dry air getting kind of pulled into Raphael, that's kind of choking its ability to intensify. The water is much cooler over the Gulf of Mexico compared to, a month or two ago. A lot of limiting factors. You got a cold front to the north, right? This big front here that is going to push it away from the coastline. Meanwhile, you've got high pressure right here over Mexico City. And remember, high pressure rotates clockwise, so that's going to pull it down. It's kind of like two cogs in a big machine here. And effectively, the storm is going to kind of just sit there, wobble around a little bit, and then head south, where it will potentially dissipate once it has weakened to a tropical disturbance, depression. And that will be, as you can see, the 13th. So that's 5 days from now. Pardon me, guys. My 2-year-old is having a real tough time adjusting with daylight saving time. So I'm not getting much sleep nowadays. All right. Let's go back to the per station radar. It looks like we lost the tornado warning. I don't know if Jordan can still hear me.
Yeah, I got you. I can still hear you.
Yeah, so it looks like the tornado warning there in Oklahoma has expired. So keep an eye on things here. A lot of lightning in this particular line. Let me just show it here on the high def radar. So again, it's interesting. This is all part of this very large system that's kind of cutting across the United States here, right? It's multiple seasons worth of weather, right? We've got this hurricane down here in the Gulf of Mexico. Not too far away from it, you've got a tornado threat. Let me turn on the convective outlook. You got the evil avocado, if you will, which has now, Jordan, by the way, been extended northward to include Wichita Falls.
Okay.
So you've got Dallas, Wichita Falls. So that is now 6.89 million people. Looks like a teeny little bit there into Oklahoma, right? But folks, look how steep the drop-off is behind this line here, right? So the evil avocado pit there does include Dallas, Waco, Killeen, Wichita Falls. And this is a fast-moving system here. As Jordan mentioned before, things moving at 55 miles per hour in some senses. Meanwhile, up here...
Definitely a cute little wall cloud back there.
Meanwhile, up here, up into Colorado, you can see the pair of bullseyes there. You're talking 12 inches of snow here over the next 24 hours. So, hey, it's a holiday weekend. If you live up in the Colorado area and you have your Icon Pass, boy, it's going to be some good skiing weather. Probably wait until Sunday to drive out on the roads. Or if, again, on Monday, if you do have the day off from work there for Veterans Day. Monday looking like a solid day for some skiing. So, again, a lot of active weather happening across the United States right now. If y'all have any questions, whoa, we got a lot of people watching us here on TikTok now. Appreciate y'all joining us. Really appreciate it. My name is Mike Linden. I'm a meteorologist with My Radar. I am joined by storm chaser Jordan Hall as well. He is chasing storms in Texas. And if you were with us not too long ago here on TikTok, you saw Jordan flying his drone. So he'll do that again here. But if you are just joining us here on TikTok, we'd really appreciate it if you were to follow us here on TikTok. That way we always know whenever we drop a new video, of course, whenever we go live. Tap on the screen, send your support that way, and hey, share the live stream. That way, if there's any folks that live in the Dallas, Oklahoma area that want to know what's going on near them, or shoot, up into Colorado and want to know about the snow, send the live stream their way. We're good time here. All right, Jilly says, what's the red line in Dallas? That's a warm front, right? So effectively what you're seeing here is the leading edge of warmer air coming in from south, the south of that, let me back up here. A front is literally the front, like literally like in a line, like to follow the leader, the front of an air mass. And in this sense, that's why, again, you have those half circles, or pips, as they're called. The reason why they're facing northward there is because that is showing you the direction in which the air is coming from. Okay? So in this sense, the air is coming in from the south and southwest and moving toward the north and northeast there. Behind it, you've got a cold front here, which has the little triangles, right? When you get pinched in, if I pause it here, when you get kind of pinched in, it's called the triple point, where if we have the center of low pressure right here, right? And then you have the front extending away from it, and then a front extending to the south of it, the warm and the cold, right? And you get pinched in here is typically in that triple point where you find some of the nastiest storms, being that is where you have a really extreme gradient of the warmer air that is in place and then that colder, drier air coming in behind it. Because remember, warm air rises, okay? You know this. If you ever slept on a bunk bed, you know that the top bunk is the warmer one, okay? So warm air is already rising. But then coming in behind it, you have cold air, which is heavier. It's more dense, so it sinks, right? So with the warm air already rising, the cold air is coming in. And what happens is that warm air then kind of jumps onto the roller coaster hill, if you will, and rides its way rises its way upward in the atmosphere. But what that cold air is doing is kind of forcing it northward faster than its initial lapse rate, right? So essentially what's happening there is you are getting just explosive development along the leading edge of that front. That is why, again, you're seeing this very distinct line out ahead of this cold front here. Those are effectively the meteorological dynamics here at play. I try my best to take the science and make it very relatable for y'all. There's even times where I remember being in school where you're learning about thermodynamics, where it is just so much to be able to put it into layman's terms can really help you kind of click a little bit, right? All right, we've got folks here joining us across all of our social media platforms. Sandra on YouTube says weather in central Arkansas. So I mean, you've got some thunderstorms out that way near Texarkana and Little Rock, or southwest of Little Rock, but nothing severe, nor is it expected to be. So just some regular old rain. But we're watching here in Texas and Oklahoma. Again, this is not a, ring the alarm bells, the end of days is coming kind of weather here. We mainly wanted to go live just to kind of shake the rust off a little bit before a holiday weekend and talk about, of course, a lot that's going on. We've got snow, like blizzard conditions in Colorado. You've got Hurricane Rafael in the Gulf, and we've got the tornado threat here across Texas and Oklahoma. So this is just a slight risk, right? You can see that here in right here, the evil avocado, if you will. So this yellow color here is the slight risk of severe weather. So that is a 2 out of 5. On the Storm Prediction Center scale, you've got this darker green, that's marginal risk. The lighter green around it is just general thunderstorm activity. That's why for the person in Arkansas that was asking, what about Arkansas? That's what you're seeing in Arkansas. Just garden variety thunderstorms, right? But then you have some mitigating circumstances for the spots where you see the colors begin to ramp up a little bit. The marginal risk, that's that darker green color, Austin, Tyler, Sherman, Lawton, Oklahoma. That's where you'll see very scattered thunderstorm development, right? Slight risk is the yellow color there, and that kind of notches things up a little bit, right? That's a 2 out of 5 on their scale. And the difference between the marginal and the slight is that instead of being more scattered, things are a little more isolated in the sense where you're starting to see kind of those little pockets that could be fairly significant. Then you go up from there, you go to enhanced, that's a 3 out of 5, that's an orange kind of color. Then beyond that, you get to a moderate risk, that's a red color. And then finally, the high risk, that is a purple kind of magenta color that is reserved for only the highest risk days. This is really interesting. I see Capucci off to the side here, developing. He's making a graphic as we speak, going to get shared on social media. So kind of spying on him a little bit here. I don't know if he's watching. Hi, Capucci. You're more than welcome to join us, by the way. If he can hear me, we can always pull Capucci in, and he can talk about this. I know he can talk about weather till the cows come home. All right, let's see what you folks are asking here on TikTok. Penny says, sister lives in Colorado. She's snowed in. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, you got blizzard conditions over there with the amount of snow. that is coming for those folks. Of course, blizzard, you need you need a particular rate of snowfall, you need limited visibility, and of course, you need winds at a particular intensity as well. So you can't just say, oh, it's blizzarding outside. There is a specific definition for a blizzard. You Crazy Witch says, what's going to happen in San Antonio? Well, San Antonio is so far south here. Y'all are not under. Oh, you are under the marginal risk. Well, I will say for San Antonio, you're kind of dealing with it right now. It'll be over here in the next hour or so, just based on the fact that the stronger stuff is well to your north. So we'll likely see this risk area get kind of pinned down here over time. But what else is going in San Antonio? You guys have an extraterrestrial walking around there. His name is Victor Wembanyama. He is so fun to watch. So shout out to San Antonio. And I'm a Knicks fan. I think my team's going to be very good this season. All right, weather in St. Louis. Shout out to Nelly and the home of the Rams. Well, I'm sorry. I don't mean to rub it in at all. I'm not a Stan Kroenke guy. He owns my soccer team. I don't. Not such a fan of Mr. Kroenke. Not too much going on in St. Louis. Not too much going on there. All is quiet. Now, Colleen is interesting for the person on TikTok that is asking that. Colleen is right here on the borderline, right, of the marginal and the slight risk here. Remember, folks, I'm not trying to, again, ring the alarm bells and tell you the sky is falling here. This is not anything crazy. It is certainly a sneaky setup, given kind of the circumstances, the time of year. We've already seen a couple of storms be tornado warned. But Colleen there, you can expect things to maybe get a little blustery here over the next 2 to 3 hours or so. And there is the possibility, of course, of some of these storms becoming severe warned, if not tornado warned. So certainly keep an eye on things. So Caleb is asking, will East Texas get a tornado watch? So there already is a tornado watch in place. Let me show you here. So the tornado watch does cover Killeen, Waco, Dallas, McKinney, and does extend northward into Wichita and Lawton. Oh, Capucci says he's in the lounge. Might be tricky. That's right. Capucci's flying to Ireland tonight. So shout out to Capucci joining us from the whatever airport lounge he's in. I have traveled with Capucci once. Where was that? Was that Las Vegas, Capucci? I think so. He has got
What's
the
he going
hook.
to Ireland for?
I don't know what he's going to the UK. He is a world traveler, man. And if anything, y'all can shame him because he travels the world and has access to all these amazing opportunities and foods. And he chooses to eat like Domino's pizza. No shots at Domino's, but kind of. It's crazy to me. He went to Japan and is eating like McDonald's,
He's just like me. The most boring part of our life is our food selection.
Okay, Capucci, he's right. It was Florida because it was here at MCO and we were going to Austin. That's right, for the NASCAR race. Capucci has access to all these amazing little parts of the airport, given that he travels so much. And we walked in there and they were giving us food and drinks. It was great. There was a shower. He at one point goes, I'm going to go and take a shower. I'm like, what's going on? I went to go take a shower at the airport lounge. So if you're ever so lucky you get to travel with Capucci, he knows all the good spots. Now, if you're looking to find good food, I would not consult Matthew Capucci. If you want to talk about weather or, again, the cool things to do in the airports, he's your guy. For sure. Back to the weather, though. This yellow color here is a tornado watch. What a pivot, right? This is for the next 6.5 hours here. This is a very sneaky kind of setup in the sense where things are developing really fast. I mean, these storms are moving very, very fast. This is all part of a larger system that actually is kind of all the way up here in the Colorado area, right? Where you have this big front extending from near Denver, near Craig, Rawlins, Laramie. You can see that here. Let me turn on the winds. We're going to go to the wind layer. I'll turn that on here. And the jet stream. And you're going to see the air upstairs here in the jet stream. This is the big trough right here, right? And the big center of rotation is kind of to its north. That's where its home kind of is, and it extends away from it. But this is a pretty monster trough behind this. So let me switch to the ground-based winds here. So again, you've got snow, being that, of course, things are getting colder, right? The winter is right around the corner. You got air coming in from Canada that's already in place over parts of the central United States and over the upper elevations, obviously. But then you have this warmer air that's being surged northward. You can really see that here with the surface winds right here, right? Just look at the way that the air is moving here. Needless to say, by the way, you want to talk about wind shear? I mean, it is not more evident than right here. So, of course, wind shear, one of the ingredients that you need for tornadic development. And effectively, we're talking at winds that differ at height and speed, right? So in this sense, we're only looking at the winds at the surface. But again, you are seeing wind shear right here in the sense where look at the way the wind is moving here. In this sense, over Victoria and over Austin, the air is moving from the south to the north. But then just to its west here, you've got wind coming in from the northwest. So, of course, we have winds now in opposite directions that are pinching. You can almost see it here in the animation where those winds are kind of meeting and then funneling their way northward here. And that is, of course, providing one of the ingredients necessary for spin to occur. Now, if I switch over to the jet stream winds, remember that you've got winds at the south over the Austin area. But then look at the way that the winds are coming in at height, right? Over the Odessa, Abilene, San Angelo area, coming in from kind of the west-southwest. So you've got winds that are differing in speed and height. Big check, right? In terms of one of the necessary ingredients for wind shear, okay? Get off my meteorological soapbox there. All right. Folks, thank you so much for joining us here on this Friday afternoon. My name is Mike Linden. I'm a meteorologist with My Radar. It is about to be 3:30 here Eastern Time. Hope you are all doing well. We are streaming live from the My Radar studio here in Orlando, Florida. You can see behind me there. That is good old Hurricane Raphael. That is a big old nothing burger. Nothing going to happen from this storm here in the sense where it is very, very unlikely to impact land. There is we're talking outlier if this thing were to go and impact land in the United States. But it is very likely just kind of going to sit out there in the Gulf of Mexico, head toward the Bay of Campeche, and that's kind of all she wrote. We did a push alert video earlier today with Matthew Capucci where we sent it to folks along the Gulf Coast where he was talking about how aren't we all kind of just done with this? I think he speaks for everybody here. We've got Storm Chaser Jordan Hall. He's on the stream as well. He's on the phone with somebody, but I think he's kind of over it too. We are most definitely kind of it's been a long hurricane season, right? Not over yet. It is not over yet. December 1st is the end of hurricane season. So we are not there just yet. A little update here from Capucci, because I was talking about the airport lounge stuff. Man, I mean, just the clothes that he's wearing, the headphones that he's using. Yeah, it's amazing. He said he have a hidden grilled cheese sandwich in his backpack. What? You brought that with you from home? You don't have. We found this out. You don't have food where you live. You had to have got that from the airport. Here's a picture of Capucci. You guys can see. Oh man, I see him making that graphic right here. He says it was free. Well, that checks out. that fits the MO, the Matthew Capucci MO for food. Move this out of the way here. But yeah, Capucci is traveling to Ireland. He's got you covered. I mean, I think we did 3 videos from Capucci where we talked about the fire risk in the Northeast, of course, the severe risk here in Texas and Oklahoma, and then the ongoing situation with Raphael there. So we have got you fully covered. That's why if you don't have it already, you need to download the My Radar app. That's what I'm using right here on Windows. It's behind me here, I think on Windows as well, right, Jack? And hey, right above my head and right here, I've got it on iOS. Of course, that is on an iPad, right? But I've got it on my phone, iPhone. You can download it. Anywhere where you can download apps, search My Radar and you will find it. It is completely free. If you are watching on TikTok, head to our profile and you can download it right there. It says app with a little down arrow. Click that. You don't even have to exit the app in TikTok and it will let you download it. So again, it is completely free to download. There's all sorts of awesome stuff that you can do in the app. And of course, we will have you covered with live streaming content in the app and of course, video content in multiple languages, including from our English team here. Look at Jack already updating that thumbnail. Shout out to Jack. And as you can see here, we put forecast videos in here. We've got all sorts of other content, weather documentaries, and all sorts of cool stuff that we're doing. We have a completely Spanish-speaking team that does bilingual content as well. There's app tutorials, how to keep your home safe tutorials there. So much. And hey, if you guys have any desire for us to do any other kinds of content, just let us know. We have had a really great end to the year here with the video and social media team. The folks behind the scenes, Jack and Mauricio, have been working their butts off to make sure that everything that you guys are seeing is operating at a really high level. So I am so excited to see what we are able to produce going into 2025. So if you guys want to see any kind of cool or interesting weather content, or if you want us to talk about something in particular, just let us know. Send us a DM wherever it is that you're watching on any social media platform. Let us know what you want us to do, and we are here to serve you. All right? That includes all you folks that are watching on Twitch, on YouTube as well, on X, on Facebook, and of course on TikTok. Let us know what's up. Let us know what you want us to cover there. All right, so we've got someone here on YouTube. Beth says, what about Round Rock, Texas? I've got my grandson there. Well, shout out to your grandson. So in My Radar here, if you tap onto the magnifying glass, check this out. We can type in the location and boom, it centers us right over it. So Round Rock here is right here. Excuse me. Hang on. Got to remember to stay hydrated, folks. I've already worked my way through 2 of these today. Moving on. Round Rock here, you are south of the tornado warning. So the worst of the weather is expected to remain north of you. And again, I need to reiterate, folks, we're live streaming mainly because there's a lot of weather going on today. You'll typically see us streaming live when there's, a more elevated level of severe weather threat. This is kind of borderline for us to be live streaming, but it's a holiday weekend. There's a hurricane out there. There's a lot going on. So by no means do you need to, start to freak out a little bit. Of course, being weather aware, you get 2 big thumbs up from me. So thank you for watching and staying abreast of the weather. Shout out to Jacob, Beth, of course. Again, be prepared for some certainly blustery conditions. You've got a lot of lightning to the west of Round Rock there. I worked with a meteorologist in Kentucky. Shout out Chris Bailey, who used to say, we got LOL out there, lots of lightning. I know that is the cheesiest dad joke, but Chris, one of the best meteorologists I know, and of course, Jim Caldwell at WKYT. If for whatever reason he was watching and didn't hear me, shout him out as well. He'd be very upset. I just saw Jim in Last Week Tonight, last week with John Oliver wearing his Price is Right Showcase Showdown costume. So big shout out to Jim. That was awesome. Okay. So again, that's the tornado watch. That yellow box there, if you're just joining us here, that extends until 9 o'clock Central Time tonight. My guess is you're going to start to see the western side of that watch start to get peeled away, being that this system is really moving fast here. Context clueless. Yeah, we had a tornado warning, but it's done. Yeah, that was the one near Chattanooga up into Oklahoma, but it's not raining heavily in Geronimo. Yeah, again, the thing is with this system moving as fast as it is, what happens sometimes is where you have that center line here. Let me pause it for a moment here. Where you've got this center line, like in this instance, for example, here just to the west of Bowie and Bridgeport, where, boy, there's a lot of lightning there. But then you have this kind of secondary line out behind it that if it were to kind of speed up a little bit, remember, supercell thunderstorms and ones that are off by themselves, those are typically the ones that produce the nastiest tornadoes because they're very selfish. They don't want to share the available energy with anything else. They want to remain doing their own thing. But what happens is when you have kind of the secondary line or any kind of line that kind of comes in, they kind of merge a little bit. And now, of course, you can still get tornadoes that develop within those embedded lines, but it loses kind of its real upper bound potential a little bit here. And it kind of just gets caught up in the mixer a little bit here. All right. I heard Jordan. Jordan, are you off driving again?
Yeah, I'm here. I just unmuted myself.
So I see that you're near Bowie, and that you've got to be right here near this line, right? To the west of Sunset there?
Yeah, I'm on that line.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I mean, that is lot of lightning right there here.
A lot of lightning, but your surface layer is very, very stable up over here. Very stable.
All right. Now, Jordan, I'd love for you to do a live drone fly up. That would be pretty awesome.
Yes. I was going to get east, I was probably going to get about 12 miles further east, and then I'm going to put it up.
Heck yeah. So for those of you that are just watching us, stick around for just a little bit more. And our storm chaser out in the field is going to be flying his drone live. Jordan, just wait to take off until we've got it pulled up, because that's like one of the most exciting parts, right? Awesome. So if y'all have any questions for myself or storm chaser Jordan Hall, ask away. We are here for you. We are very likely going to be streaming here for the next 45 minutes or so. Again, this is not an event where you would typically be doing like a completely, big time stream for, being that it's not anything super duper significant. I'm not trying to downplay it, right? There is, of course, severe weather. There's a tornado watch. And again, I suspect this event could be fairly sneaky in the sense where it's going to arrive really quickly and it's going to bring with it some nasty weather, right? Don't get it twisted. But we're kind of shaking the rust off a little bit. I had some PTO, wanted to live stream. We've got Hurricane Raphael. You can see it behind me here. You got Hurricane Raphael. That was a major hurricane earlier today that it's going to kind of spin around and die in the Gulf of Mexico. But it is still, of course, a hurricane here on November 8th. And then, of course, you also can see on the iPad app above my head there, maybe not on TikTok, but it's snowing a lot in the Denver area and is going to continue to produce upwards of a foot of snow over the course of the rest of the weekend here. Have you showed the full United States satellite image with the hurricane and the severe threat and the snow up north? Yeah, Jack, if you want to take the iPad, that's kind of what I've just left up there, just kind of doing its thing there, Jack. If you want to take that in full for the folks to see, I guess for TikTok and what have you. Yeah, I mean,
I think that's a fantastic image.
Look at that satellite image, huh? I mean, it is. It's like
a
year's worth
of
weather.
Oklahoma Panhandle.
It's just a year's worth of weather all in one image here. Let me pause it. And by the way, that little shot, if I click it, look at that. An awesome feature of the My Radar app where you can watch live streams. That's Jordan. Over the course of the rest of the weekend. Anyway, that being said, just look at this satellite image. You've got a hurricane over the Gulf of Mexico. You've got I don't want to say dry line, but like a quasi little dry line thing going on through Texas. You got tons of snow up north, up into Colorado. So like literally summer, fall, winter, all in one image here. Pretty staggering to see. And of course, that satellite feature in My Radar is completely free. So if you don't have it for whatever reason, I'll show you how to access it here on the iPad. So for anything within My Radar, if you want to change anything in the map and toggle on some layers, you click on the layers menu. It looks like the stack of cards. So I'm going to tap on that. And then right here at the very top, you should see high def, satellite, historical, per station, temp, and classic, right? So you can go left and right here. But satellite, if you don't see that and you're using My Radar, you just need to update to the latest version of the app, and then you'll see the satellite feature. It is completely free to use. It is really, really sweet, where you can see, upper level features like this. Again, this is a view from space here. Really amazing.
Is that our custom satellite?
No, that is the GOES geo color. What Jordan is alluding to is, if you guys did not know, My Radar, we've launched several small, they're called CubeSat satellites into space. And we actually are about to launch an entire constellation of them, roughly 150 CubeSats. The first one of that constellation, which is called Horus, goes up in March. So big shout out to SpaceX. They're giving us a ride up into space. I wish I could show the CubeSat in my hand here. I could probably run off and go grab one just to show you guys. Let me know in the chat if you guys want me to go get one of the satellites. I'll go grab it and show you. They are sweet. They are very cool. Someone's saying, yeah. Just let me know in the chat if you want me to go grab one of the satellites, and I'll go get it. Now, one person saying yes. Jordan wants to see it. Well, hey, let's do this. Jack, take the app here full, and Jordan can talk about what's going on here. I'll go grab the satellite. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and take over for Mike while he gets up and goes. But we're currently sitting in Bowie, Texas. I'm driving east towards Montang, Texas. And we obviously have a little bit of a tornado threat today. I think we're going to see more of a straight line wind threat than anything. I'm not seeing a whole lot of really significant severe thunderstorm development that's going to sustain hail. That could always happen just a little bit later. But we've already had a couple tornado warnings today near Lawton. Obviously, Hurricane Rafael down in the Gulf of Mexico is actually going to have a little bit of implications on today's chase with our low-level jet and our 850 millibar winds really getting up here to northern Texas. And that also has to do with a big surface low, like a big bowling ball low that's lifting into southwest Kansas out of Oklahoma Panhandle. Blizzard conditions across northeast Colorado. You got the tornado threat across northern Texas. We have big wildfire outbreak ongoing in California, also a fire threat in the Northeast. We have a whole lot of weather ongoing in the world right now. I know the election just happened, but you know it never stops, and that is weather. So we really do appreciate all of you guys tuning in and watching the stream as well. So I do think I hear Mike coming back with one of those satellites, but that's going to be really exciting to see that really get going into full effect as well. So super excited. We're going to launch a live drone shot here shortly, too, as I get out ahead of these storms just a little bit further.
All right. Oh, sorry, Jordan. I am back.
No, we're good. We're back over to Mike.
I was informed by the satellite team that this one that I'm about to show you is like a really, really early model. Our new satellite that they're literally working on in the other room that I cannot show y'all, just yet at least. It's going to be, what did they just say? 8 times the size, 2 times the volume, I think is what Doug said. Big shout out to Doug and to Omar and to Paul, of course. So ready? This is a satellite. This is, again, a very, very early model here. They thought I was crazy when I walked in, asked them, hey, can I borrow one of the ones? But this is it right here. Isn't this insane, right? These things are getting launched out into space. It's amazing. So our satellite, again, the new one that's going up with the Horus constellation in March is going to be much larger than this. I literally just saw them working on it. 8 times the size, 2 times the volume. There's going to be hyperspectral cameras in it. Super dope. But this is... Isn't that amazing? Like, that's a satellite now. Nuts, right? So,
I love it.
Shout out. Someone says, I want one. We were 3D printing. Someone said, you mean a cute sat. Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to tell the satellite guys. That's very funny.
I really want a 3D model of that.
Yeah, we printed a 3D model of the prototype. And because they were using that to frame up some things and size it. But yeah, pretty sweet, huh? And these are like, again, this is a very early prototype model for us. But someone said it's so tiny. That's crazy. Isn't that right? It's so nuts. I mean, this is here for comparison. Here is my phone, right? And here is a satellite, again, in outer space. Look at the size difference here. Here's an AirPods case, right? It's like my Game Boy, right? Look at that thing.
That's awesome.
Crazy. It's so nuts, right? The marvels of modern technology is so nuts. Oh, it's so funny. Someone said cute sat. That is amazing. So yeah, thanks y'all for joining us. Really appreciate it. We're waiting on Jordan to send his drone up there. Jordan, I'm going to go put the satellite back with the satellite team if you want to take over again. Be right back, guys.
You're good. I'm checking a map quick. Fine. So we're currently almost to Montang, Texas. The storm, this line is getting a little bit more of a curved shape to it. Trying to figure out what it's going to do. There's another little cell that is fired down near Lippen, southwest of Weatherford. That's got some lightning in it that could pose a threat for some damaging wind. That's going to be coming right into the western side of Fort Worth down there. Oh, no, that'll look north right towards Weatherford. Just kidding. So, but yeah, we're currently on the severe storm right now. Almost going through Bowie. It's about to go right through Bowie right now. It is warned for 65-mile-an-hour winds, and that's it. No hail. It did slow down. It's moving northeast at 35. So that thing slammed the brakes, which could really ramp up our tornado threat too. Just a smidge. I'm going to get to Montaigne. And as this thing continues tracking to the northeast, we should get a visual on if any sort of mesocyclone that it developed or is going to develop, which will be fun to see. So we're just about there. We'll get a drone up on it. There's not going to be a whole lot to see, but we'll have some fun with it as we wait for this thing to get a little closer. Again, it did slam the brakes pretty hard, so lost a lot of lightning. It went spitting out lightning too. So usually an indicator of some weakening, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing re-intensify as it continues to track towards St. Joe, Texas. For those of you guys watching on my stream on Facebook, if you haven't already, let me know where you're watching from. And for those of you guys watching on the My Radar stream, be sure to comment, let us know where you're watching from. We love having you guys here. We love your guys' support. It really goes a long way. So Mike should be back anytime now. My phone's fully charged. That's nice. As you can see, though, we do have a tornado watch, I believe, until 9 p.m. All the way up into southern Oklahoma, all the way down near Waco. I do think your tornado threat is going to be more realized up here north of I-20. But again, something could develop, especially if you can get a renegade out ahead of everything. The problem is you don't have a whole lot of forcing, so it's really hard to get a storm to really pop up and to get established with not a lot of forcing down there. But if we can get a renegade out ahead of everything, that will pose a threat for an isolated tornado. But other than that, we're going to see our tornado threat here along this line, and with maybe some QLCS threat there as well. Just about to Montaigne as we continue east here. Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it. The new NATO cast just come out too.
All right, I'm back, Jordan.
Yeah, I'm here.
I got some breaking news from the satellite team that I guess will be an exclusive to all y'all on social media and the My Radar app and whatnot. One of the satellites will be finished potentially as early as next week. Remember, this thing has to pass a bunch of tests prior to us sending it to SpaceX for them to take into space. So we might get an early look at the satellite next week if our founder and CEO, Mr. Andy Green, is cool with that.
That's exciting.
I just saw it over just a moment ago. It is cool. It is very cool. Big shout out to Omar and Doug. Those guys are awesome. All right.
We'll do it. We'll do a live drone shot from here. Okay. I have a spot, but it's going to be, you're not going to be able to see a whole lot, but I got something really interesting we can show too. So
let's do it.
This will be a fun one. Let me get the drone and stuff ready. And this will be fun. This will be a fun one.
Big shout out to Humble Beast, says, always look forward to your updates. Thank you very much. Sean is watching in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Man, how about those Hoosiers, huh? I mean, the greatest football season in the school history. I unfortunately think they're going to get majorly fraud checked when they make it to the playoff there. But hey, enjoy it while it's here, huh? Much better than Jordan's Oklahoma Sooners. I'm sure he would trade places with y'all every day of the week. And what else we got here from Ryan? It says, when is it going to be out of the Arlington area? Going to the Lincoln Park show? Oh, I didn't realize that tour started. Of course, with that new
You
singer.
can go ahead and pull that drone feed up.
All right, let's do it. So before you launch, Jordan, for those of you that are watching, Jordan is about to fly his drone, and we'll take a look at the severe storms as they're advancing through the Texas area. Just give it a moment here. All right, I see it now on there. Cool. Is it on TikTok too? It is on TikTok. Jordan, take it away.
All right. There we go. So we're going to be looking off to our southwest here. Very stable right now. As you can see, the drone will give you a really good perspective of how stable it is out there.
Jack, you can take it in full for the horizontal platforms.
But this highway right here off to our left, that's going to be highway. Which highway is that? That's going to be Highway 59 that runs southwest here into Bowie. We're looking southwest at the severe storm, but as you can see, it's got that milky, gloomy look to it. Very stable. I'd say very stable air down here.
So Jordan, when you're talking about stable air, explain to folks what it is that you mean by that.
How do I explain it? So I don't know how to really explain it too well without. I'm not the greatest at the explanation of stable. It's just when it looks very gloomy, milky, not rugged and like crispy, like on the backside of like a really pretty supercell or thunderstorm, it's got that cauliflower crispy look to it. And here it just looks very dull and kind of like a gloomy day. This means there's not a whole lot of energy and much of an environment for it to really soak up. But something to note, I might have to blast south as we have an isolated supercell that's forming southwest of Weatherford right now. And that could be your tornado threat developing down there. Something I'll show you guys too. I'll fly the drone over here and give you guys a cool shot. We have a lot of these really pretty I think they're windmills here. I'm going to fly here next to them. There we go. Show you these windmills with the storm behind it.
Oh yeah,
as you can see, not a whole lot of wind, surface wind here, and I think that's has a lot to do with the Hurricane Raphael cutting off your low-level jet over here in Texas.
Bear in mind, of course, those windmills going to be spinning once the line does advance over the top of you.
Yeah,
but of course, as Jordan alluded to, somewhat stable conditions out ahead of this. This is a very narrow strip of severe weather here, but one that I could potentially sneak up on some folks. Again, remember, there is a tornado watch that is in effect for parts of Texas through this evening, Central Time. Okay.
So I just zoomed in towards the highway there, and you can actually see, oh, whoops. Don't know what just happened. Hold on. We'll go front screen here. Had a remote error there. So we'll just kick it back out to the front windshield there.
Okay. The drone okay?
I'll have to check, but the remote just had a remote error, so it's probably still hovering up there. It's just got to reconnect. So
gotcha. All right, so we'll get right back to Jordan. For those of you that are just joining us in the My Radar app from the push notification that we just did out to Texas and Oklahoma, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mike Linden. I'm a meteorologist with My Radar. Of course, I'm joined by storm chaser Jordan Hall, who's out in the field. He is in the Lone Star State of Texas. We are talking about this severe weather threat is a slight risk for severe weather. We wouldn't necessarily be doing a live stream for this, but due to the fact that there's just simply a lot going on. We've got snow up in the Denver area. We're talking blizzard-like conditions up there. Severe weather in Texas and Oklahoma, where there is a tornado watch that is in effect. Let me show you here. It's this yellow color. Oh, you're going to have to take the My Radar app up here, Jack, while we wait for Jordan to get us shown. There you go. So this is the tornado watch that is in effect until 9 o'clock Central Time. The National Weather Service calling for a few tornadoes possible. Scattered, damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. I think that that's more likely from this event, as well as the possibility for some 1-inch sized hail. Of course, not fun to be caught outside in any of that. Meanwhile, to the south, we've got Hurricane Rafael as it continues to chug its way through the Gulf of Mexico. It is a Category 2 hurricane as it stands right now. It is now down to 98 miles per hour. That was at 109 not too long ago. So Rafael really, really struggling. There's a lot working against that storm right now, in the sense where if I go into the app here and I turn on the clouds layer, I'll show you the water vapor imagery. You can see there's just tons of dry air getting sucked into this thing that is just really limiting its upper bound development. Meanwhile, over the Gulf of Mexico, it is a lot warmer. The water is closer to the lower 80s, if not upper 70s. This is that time of year when things do start to kind of come down from the craziness that we saw over the summer months. Remember, winter is, not to sound like Ned Stark here, right? But winter is coming. Most definitely. And if you live in Colorado, winter is here, right? Because if I go all the way out here, just look at conditions out that way. You are talking about a lot of snow that is falling over parts of Colorado this afternoon and evening. The possibility of another 12 inches of snow. In fact, you can see that here in the weather outlooks layer in the app, and I'm going to turn on the snow forecast. You can see that blue dot there. That is quite a bit of snow, upwards of 8 to 10 inches of additional snowfall overnight tonight. Meanwhile, if we look down here near kind of right over top of the tornado watch, right? It's actually pretty eerie there that they are. There's the tornado watch. And notice that the slight risk, that's the yellow color from the SPC, is pretty much aligned with that. So that is a 2 out of 5 on the SPC scale. A slight risk, that yellow color, meaning that tornadic storms could be scattered, right? So again, nothing to, that's going to bring the house down necessarily, but you certainly don't want to let these things slip. And again, if you are watching us on social media, we really appreciate you joining us, whether you're watching on TikTok, on X, on YouTube, Facebook, or of course you're watching in the My Radar app. Welcome, welcome. Hope you are all doing well. We'd really appreciate it if you were to follow us on whatever platform it is that you're joining us on. If you're watching us on TikTok, for example, hey, I see a lot of you guys that are watching us here on TikTok. We really appreciate it if you were to follow us. The button is somewhere above my head. Click follow. That we always know whenever we drop a new video, or of course whenever we go live. We would really, really appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Jack, how many people we got watching in the app? Can you tell me in my ear? Okay. All good. Oh, I don't know if Capucci is still watching us here, but he noticed the Easter egg in the video that we pushed out to Denver. All right, coffee addict on Sherman. Aren't we? I was gonna say, aren't we all? You know that Matthew Capucci does not drink coffee? For the amount of energy that guy has, amazing, right? What is his secret? Who knows? All right, let's go in here and we're gonna turn off this. And you know what? We're going to actually do this. We're going to turn off the watch for right now. Sherman, Texas, coffee addict. I love coffee. Big fan. Just black coffee for me. So here's Sherman, right? North of McKinney, Texas, south of Durant. So you are not, I believe, in the tornado. Oh, you are. Apologies. You are in the tornado watch, Sherman. But you're on the far edge of it, right? Bree, what's up? Came from the My Radar app. Well, hey, you're still in the My Radar family, Bree. We appreciate it very much. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it very, very much. But as for the person that asked about Sherman, coffee addict. Yes, same. Hey, amen. I love me a good cup of coffee. I'm an iced coffee guy myself. I love hot coffee. It's all great. And black coffee for me, I don't need any other stuff in there. It's like wine. Why would you put anything in wine? You know, it ruins the taste of the wine. You put ice cubes in wine. What are you doing? But hey, whatever. You know, you do you. But as for Sherman, Texas, you're on the far edge of the tornado watch. So again, by the time these storms get to you, that'll be close to that 9 o'clock kind of deadline, so to speak, for the tornado watch. So the storms will be weakening a little bit. Jordan, can you still hear me, by the way? Nope. All right. Jordan is working out what's going on with the drone there. I'm sure everything's fine. I see a shot here. All right. That Oklahoma guy, good username there, asking about Tulsa. So Tulsa, you know, you're way east, my man, of what's going on. Right up, you're not part of the severe risk today. This is kind of just garden variety thunderstorms. You're also just to the north of that stationary front. And if you're wondering, you know, what is that line? It looks super weird. It doesn't look like a cold front, doesn't look like a warm front. It looks like a combination of both of them. Well, your eyes do not deceive you. That is indeed a stationary front. And what's happening there is you have cold air. A little fact for you here. Do you see the way that the pips, as they're called, the triangles and the little half circles, the way that they are pointing? Cold is pointing to the south, warm pointing to the north. You got warm air coming in from the south, cold air coming in from the north, and what's happening here is that they are kind of fighting for position. It's like the line of scrimmage in football, right? So the ball's hiked, offensive and defensive line are fighting for position. Now, what's happening here with the stationary front is neither air mass, at least right now, is strong enough to overtake the other. But spoiler alert, cold air is going to win. It always does. It's denser, it's heavier, warm air rises. Right? So, effectively what's happening there for you in Tulsa, you're kind of caught in a spot where the two air masses are clashing, and that's why you're seeing right here on the radar loop all of kind of the mess kind of blowing up just to the south of you here. Jenks, South Tulsa, Henrietta. What a way to spell Henrietta there, huh? But all of that kind of firing up right along that stationary front here. So it could lead to some ponding up of water on the roadways. Certainly something to watch out for. We got Princeton, Texas. Okay, so that is north of the Dallas area here. Princeton. Where are you? There it is. Apologies. Right here. East of McKinney. So you are in that tornado watch. Difference. Let me turn it on for you here. Boom. So you are, again, on that eastern edge. So likely going to see the storms arriving a little bit later tonight. Remember, we're losing daylight. As you saw Jordan's shot, it's very murky looking. I can see it raining. So you're not going to get much additional prime heating of the day. To help these storms develop, but they're moving very quickly, right? But for you in Princeton there, very likely to start to see the storms kind of coming your way closer to 9 o'clock this evening. Elliot says, are we going to get absolutely... Now, we've got the filter on. I have no idea what you said there. I assume it's not a pleasant word. Someone asking about Denton. Shout out to the North Texas Mean Green out there in Denton. Love your work, Mike. Hey, Elliot, appreciate it very much, my man. Thank you. In terms of Denton, let's show the folks where Denton is. It's right here, right? So Denton, now you're a little more centrally located in the tornado watch. Let me turn it on. I keep turning it on and off. All you folks asking about Texas here. I'll just bring the opacity down a little bit. So here's Denton, right? Northwest of Carrollton, Louisville, west of Frisco, west of McKinney, home of the Mean Green. Denton. That's an answer to a trivia question. A lot of teams end in S. Mean Green does not. They are one of them. Thundering Herd of Marshall. That's another one. Anyway, so as for Denton, again, just be mindful. You got a pretty nasty looking line to your west there. It's very thin, though. If you do see anything developing, it's likely going to be coming at you real fast here, right? These storms were moving upwards of 50 miles per hour. Oh, God, David's in here now. He wrote, go birds. Ugh. Yuck. I would say follow Dry Glick in the chat there, David. You don't even have a profile picture, my guy. But that's Dr. David Ruglicki, who just put the little heart in there. of course, instead of using a heart emoji, he typed it out. You know, I'll let you do with that if you will. But David's great. He's our director of meteorological research, tropical weather expert, and of course, as you saw, a Philadelphia Eagles fan. So that's good. Anywho, couldn't afford Saquon Barkley. Yeah, we just let him go. It's gross. Anyway, that hurdle, huh? That was crazy. Elliot is asking, what is a squall line? What a good question, Elliot. So a squall line, of course, is effectively a line of winds that are kind of advancing in a straight line, just kind of plowing ahead, right? Where you can see some spin. So like this line here, a lot of lightning in it, right? It's messy. It's messy. Again, there is that tornado watch there. You are getting winds coming in from the south. The wind's also coming in from the west. That's how you, of course, get wind shear. All right. Jack, how are we doing in the app, my man? All right. All right. Now, I don't know where Jordan went. I assume he's just working on his drone there. Okay. No worries. But I think we're probably going to wrap this up here momentarily.
Here,
again, we were doing this live stream. You can normally expect to find us here streaming when there is, a more elevated risk of severe weather. We just wanted to kind of come. Let's do it. Let's take Jordan's camera.
Yeah, here. I'm going to put my facial camera on real quick.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm going to show you guys something crazy. So I just got, with that new drone, I got a brand new battery that DJI sent me. And the DJI battery malfunctioned and it lit on fire midair and exploded.
What? What?
When I hopped out of the car and left the Zoom, I actually had to go put the fire out that was on the drone. And I have video of that as well. We'll pull that up.
Oh my gosh!
So that is the risk of DJI having issues sometimes. So this is the drone when I found it. So battery was having a full meltdown, as you can see there.
Oh my gosh!
He's already insured, so we're good.
Shout out to the I remember back in the day, this might date me in like internet culture, the will it blend guy that would blend random things. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, Jordan. And
yes.
he'd be like, iPhone smoke, don't breathe this. That's first thing that popped into my head when I saw the the battery on fire there. Holy cow, Jordan, that is nuts, man. You're okay. You're obviously okay. It's not like the field next to you is on fire, right? We're good.
No, it just rained. I think we are about to get a tornado warning south of Weatherford, though. I might have to drop south to that.
All right, no worries. So Jordan's talking about this cell right here that's starting to develop a lot of lightning here. But Jordan, we're going to wrap things up here. Someone said, show us the video. Jordan, did you get it on video?
Do what?
The drone malfunctioning. Did that record?
It recorded on the stream on my Facebook, so I'll have it.
Sweet. All right. So just be sure to follow us, and Jordan will share that on social media here. Again, for those of you that are watching in the My Radar app on YouTube, X, Facebook, Twitch, big shout out to our Twitch family growing by the day, as well as the folks watching on TikTok. We really appreciate y'all joining us. Be sure to follow us across all of our platforms. Again, I haven't mentioned this enough. My Radar is completely free to download. I'm using it here on Windows. That's what you've seen me driving around. I've got it right here on the iPad, on iOS. Of course, it is available on Android as well. You can see it behind me on the big video wall behind me as well. My Radar is completely free to download. Of course, there are premium features within the app for you to try. There is a 3-day free trial for you to get all of the awesome premium features in it. But there's so much great stuff in the app. I highly suggest checking it out. It's the perfect companion to have for severe weather, for hurricane season, for tracking snow, any and all weather. I, of course, use it all the time. I wouldn't say it's just because I work for the company, but I use it all the time before I'm about to go run outside. I live in Florida, here in Orlando, where it can start raining like that. And of course, My Radar, one of the best features we have is our proprietary rain alerts. We will let you know when it's going to be raining and at what intensity. We're talking minutes before it happens. So that has gotten me out of a jam many, many times where I was going to go running, and then of course, rain alert. I'm going to wait for that to pass, going to wait for the rain to pass, and then we'll go outside and run. But it's great. Make it part of your routine. I can't recommend it.
Here we go. We're going through that line right now. Crazy wind on stream.
Yep, we see it here. So remember, this Jordan is pushing through Weatherford, Texas. I think the locator says Montague, so it's updating there.
Yeah, we're in Montague.
Okay. Oh, you're going toward the cell in Weatherford.
Yeah, we're going towards the buoy again. I'm going to drop south to Decatur.
Aaron just said, does this guy ever actually talk about weather or just the app? Aaron, I've been talking about weather for like 2.5 hours now. The 30 seconds you hear me talking about the app. But hey, how about you do this? You're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. That way you always know whenever we drop a new video or go live, and you'll hear us talk about weather a lot. A lot. You'll get your fill of meteorological content here following My Radar. So again, Jordan is going to be streaming, and you can, of course, watch Jordan in the app as well. Jack, why don't you just zoom in? Why don't you take the iPad and full there so I can show folks the feature here. So if you click on the layers menu, it looks like the stack of cards. You just want to make sure you have the video storm chasers layer turned on. And then you can see, what is that little sign on, what is that little play button on the app? And then you tap on it and that says Jordan Hall. How about that? Boom, there's Jordan's live stream. Isn't that neat?
Bingo.
Yep, so you can watch Jordan stream. He is streaming all the time. And he's got to be the only chaser out there that's giving you views, not only driving like this, but also when the drone is not, being set on fire, the shots up from the sky as well. So big shout out to Jordan. We look forward to doing a lot of great stuff with Jordan here moving forward. Anywho, that's, I think, going to wrap things up here. Again, the severe threat does continue for the rest of the evening for Central Texas here. There is a tornado watch until 9 o'clock Central Time. This is going to be moving fairly quickly here, okay? If you'd like to learn more about the threat in and of itself, if you go into the video portal in the app, it looks like the play button on the toolbar there. You can see that right here, tornado risk in Dallas. Jack, by the way, it looks like the thumbnail's the same for both.
I'm going to hop off.
No worries. Thanks, Jordan. Jack, if you want to tell Mauricio here, it looks like the thumbnail is the same here, unless there's something bugging on my end here. But the one right here, tornado risk in Dallas. You can watch that video. Matt Pucci sent that out earlier today. Oh, Sean says, I watched Jordan Hall quite a bit. Yeah, Jordan's the man. Jordan is great. All right. So that's, I think, gonna do it, folks. I hope you enjoy your holiday weekend. Of course, Monday is Veterans Day. Be sure if you run into any men and women of the United States Armed Forces that you thank them for their service. Of course, none of this would be possible if it weren't for the sacrifice that those folks make when they sign up to defend this country. So big shout out to everybody in the Armed Forces. And again, enjoy your holiday weekend. All right. Bree, I see you yelling at me here. Let's do it. Okay. So let's spell this. Waxahachie. There you go. I've got to zoom in here. It looks like it's a suburb. There it is. Waxahachie. Thank you, sir. It's all good. I see you. I see you. None of our mods are on right now to stop the anyway, just all good. So Waxahachie, you are in the tornado risk. Again, you're south of Dallas. The threat is more north of you. You are in the tornado watch area there for the southern suburbs. But I would say that the stronger stuff will remain closer to kind of that Oklahoma, Texas area. We're talking, Arlington, Fort Worth, Dallas, and like northward, Plano, Louisville, Frisco, Denton, kind of that way. But of course, it doesn't mean that you're out of the woods. Just make sure that you are staying weather aware. B Derby, thank you very much for subscribing. Nymeria, the Border Collie, thank you very much. We appreciate it very much. Big shout out to our TikTok subscribers. Thank you very much. All right, that's going to do it. Be sure to follow us across all of our social media platforms. We are committed to being live for you as we move forward. If there's typically going to be anything, enhanced risk or above, we will be here streaming. Of course, we'll be streaming live during the winter season, of course, all year round. From myself, meteorologist Erica Lopez and Matthew Capucci, storm chaser Jordan Hall. On the field, we'll also be joined, of course, by Colin McCarthy and Will Cano as well. And then, before we say goodbye, Jack, let's pull up Jack Shot, the man with none of this would be possible if it weren't for him switching the buttons there. Big shout out to Jack. Again, it is a holiday weekend. Folks, have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe. Remember that you can stay weather aware by downloading My Radar. It is completely free. You can see it behind me there. There's Hurricane Rafael. Not going to affect the United States whatsoever. Yeah, a lot going on. Snowing in the central United States. Tornado risk in Texas. Hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. It's November 8th. Crazy stuff. Anyway, that's going to do it. Be sure you download My Radar, and you can follow along as all weather develops. And of course, we will let you know when it's going to rain and all that, and My Radar is completely free. Also, I want to mention, of course, big shout out to our hardworking developers that without them, none of this would be possible for making one of the most popular weather apps in the world. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out our founder and CEO, Andy. He's the man. Thank you, Andy, for everything you do as well. All right, folks, that's going to do it. Have a fantastic holiday weekend. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. We really appreciate it very much. See you later.